And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Eastbound Esports. It's the G&P AUTOPRO 75. It's Mike James here from Eastbound International Speedway. And I got to get my good friend from Racetime Radio, Jerry Paxton's in to call the show tonight. Got a couple of Eastbound drivers peppered in here, as well as a track champion from Prince Edward Island, as well as the Ironman, Gary Elliott, joining some of the field drivers from Eastbound Park. Jerry, how are you, bud?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike, and I'm just glad we've had a couple of warm days back here in Ontario, so I just want you to know I'm feeling real racy tonight.
Well, it won't be that long before we're back to Victoria Day weekend, and we're really at a racetrack. So all the fans tuning in tonight, that ticking time bomb is not that far away. May will be here before you know it. But Jerry, you're calling from all the way up from Ontario. I'm nice and cozy here in the east end of St. John's. Drivers peppered all over the city and throughout Newfoundland, as well as Corey Reed and Bob Hutchins, Mitchell Hutchins out in central Newfoundland. So tune in tonight. This is going to be a wild one. It's the G&P AUTOPRO 75, and we're getting set here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the Phoenix International Raceway, the Legacy track. And already we are set to go. Qualifying is completed, Jerry, and we're ready to go here for the starting lineup. Sitting on the pole right now is the 41. He had the quickest qualifier time. It's going to be Jason Gosse from Torbay. His partner on the outside, the 77, will be Bob Hutchins. And we got a
starting on the inside of row number 2 is going to be Phil Fowler in that number 11, and beside him, the number 23 of Michael Neary.
On the inside of row number 3, the 19 of Ryan Walsh, a U.S. part of the Hanlon Realty, the U.S. Legends. He's going to have a hobby stock driver to the outside, the 41 of Brandon Hiscock.
Troy Burke in the 01. He's going to start on the inside of row number 4, and right beside him, the 05 is Jacob Lawrence.
And the lone lady from CBN here tonight in row number 5. That's Chantel Pottle in the 5 machine. He's going to have Robbie Cable, one of our hobby stock drivers, to the outside in the 03.
And scheduled to start on the inside of row number 6. Got to do my quick math here. 84, Noah Healy going to take that spot, and beside him, the number 78, Mitchell Hutchings.
Yeah, Gary Elliott not showing up on the screen just yet, but hopefully he can make it in time before we go green flag. But the next up, we got Corey Reed and Matt James in the final row. Joey Arsenault not going to make it here tonight, as he's had some technical difficulties with his iRacing simulator, but unfortunately he will not be competing here tonight. The 3-car Joey Arsenault, a U.S. legend. We got someone knocking on the door. I believe that is Tim Terry. Tim, how are you doing, bud?
Not bad. We actually have a couple of drivers that have elected to go to the back of the field. Brandon Hiscock is going to start scratch on the field. Jacob Lawrence is going to start scratch. And we have a potential driver change in the 23. Driving the MNR Performance number 23 is Brad Melindy, making his iRacing debut. He will start scratch on the field.
Little Bird told me earlier on, Brad Melindy, one of the managers for Thunder Valley Speedway out in central Newfoundland, also runs the Sportsman and Hobby Stocks at Eastbound. I heard a little bit of a hint from Michael Neary earlier on that Brad has been testing out the iRacing sim and wanted a shot here tonight, so there's going to be a driver change like Tim just said. Brad Melindy making his rookie debut here in Phoenix.
This just looks like a whole lot of fun here tonight. These guys are anxious to get going. You can tell just the way they're making that circuit around the racetrack behind the pace car. There's a lot of itchy feet, I'm going to call them.
Well, it's been a long winter, some big storms, but supposedly the Gopher says we're going to have an early spring, so a lot of these drivers are going to be excited to get back to the race side. All the fans as well as the management of Eastbound pretty pumped for Victoria Day weekend and can't wait for that first practice, but pretty excited to see Phil Fowler out there in the 11, and he's part of the G&P AUTOPRO team sponsoring here tonight. If you look for a paint job or some body work, check out G&P AUTOPRO. But we are gone green, and Jason Gosse gets a huge jump here on the rest of the field. Bob Hutching flares into P2, but look at that. Phil Fowler's got to come around. Oh, boy. Almost some huge damage there, but they're going to throw the caution here, Jerry. And that's going to bring in our good friend, Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. to take us back in time to have a little peek at what happened to the 11.
Putting me to work real quick here tonight. Lap number 1, Phil Fowler gets a little bit of help putting himself around. We're going to take a quick look here at the Vidane.shop instant replay, and you saw kind of what happened there to the number 11 car. Is he got just a little bit of help, but we're going to back up and we'll show it to you here in real time. And as soon as we can get the technology to cooperate, here we go, and we can actually do the good old-fashioned slow motion deal here. You can see the 03 of Robbie Cable down low, just a little bit of a bump there into the back quarter of the 11, gets him sent around and does a great job not hitting that outside wall. Locks the binders up and gets that thing pointed relatively in the right direction. Grabs the gear, gets going. No damage on the 11 for Phil Fowler. Just gonna have to restart in the back of the pack here.
Well, a little drift up the track there from the 03 of Robbie Cable, but I'm sure Phil Fowler in the 11 is not too happy, as he had a pretty good qualifier starting in row number 2, so now he's got a bit of work ahead of him. We'll see what the officials throw out here on that call there, Jerry.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because those cars are a little light in the rear end when they get into the corner like that, and he was just at that point where you're starting to put the hammer down, and all of a sudden, little tap, and he went right around. So on the restart, going to be really interesting, but that 41 of Jason Gosse, look out. That thing is a rocket ship tonight. He was quick in practice, and off the pole, he's going to be the rabbit, but these other hounds are going to try and chase him down.
100%. And Bob Hutchings, one of the veteran drivers, one of the original owners of Thunder Valley Speedway, and big veteran in the development of motorsports here in Newfoundland, Labrador. Great to see him out there representing the old dogs here tonight. But he is one quick cat, and he knows how to get around this track pretty quick. A lot of practice thrown in from Bob Hutchins, so it'll be interesting to see what he has for us. A lot of stout drivers here. A lot of time been spent in the sim throughout this winter months and even in the fall. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We got a lot of Bandolero drivers in here who spend a lot of time in the virtual world. It'll be interesting to see what Noah Healy has for us tonight in the 84. But one car we haven't talked a lot about, Jerry, is Troy Burke. That's the '01 machine from Prince Edward Island. He was the track champion in 2020. So really excited to have another Islander with us here tonight.
Yeah, always good when you bring the talent, especially when you get into this crowd. As we've talked before, there's a lot of guys racing these sim races who love to see them behind the wheel of a real race car. Some of them are good in here, and legend drivers, as we all know, a lot of those guys, they're waiting. They're working their way up. They're going to be in one of these super late models one day, and they'll tell you it's different, even on the simulator, from what it is in the real life.
Well, I got to test one out for myself in Nashville, and I can tell you it's not a video game. Very difficult. These drivers put a lot of time into setups, and as well as on pit road with air pressure and everything else, and the balance of the fuel. This is as close as the real deal that you can get to racing. And iRacing has done a fabulous job, and they keep with the updates every single month. You see something new. Now there's a new update on the tire wear as well, and we'll see a little bit of grip now. We've seen a few caution laps here already. We went caution in lap number 1. 5 have been completed of the 75 main event, but it'll be exciting to see as I get things going here. Hopefully we stay green as we are set to go. Lights are out on the Mustang pace car. We are going to go green, green, green just in a moment as the 41 of Jason Gosse of Torbay will get it going.
And a real quick note, the 36 of Gary Elliott has joined the field at the back and didn't only miss one lap, so not bad. And look at this, 41, Gosse off like a rabbit out of that start and running away quickly on that 77 of Bob Hutchings.
Hutchings getting on the hammer and reeling in the 41 and separate from the rest of the pack. Mitchell Hutchings is battling right now with Corey Reed, the 78 and the 27 there, as the 27 loses that spot on Mitchell Hutchings. That is Bob Hutchings' son from Central Newfoundland. A little wobble there, almost lost a bit of momentum, but managed to regain composure here. But keep an eye on Ryan Walsh, the 19, now coming on strong to the bottom of the 27, taking a peek here. Half car right now on Corey Reed in the 27 as they single file come around here to the backstretch.
And Corey Reed testing out the outside, the upper lane on that racetrack, trying to see how much grip is up there. He's now ducked it down to the bottom, especially after he felt a little bit of pressure from that 19 of Ryan Walsh. It didn't take him long to get that one figured out. But Reed now taking a great run down into the corner, going to drop it right down to the middle of the racetrack and then back to the outside. I don't think the car's loose. It doesn't look like it is, but boy, he loves the high line.
And look at this now, the 84 coming on strong. Noah Healy testing out the 19 of Ryan Walsh on the outside line. A lot of pressure there as Healy comes up. But we have caution here on lap number 8. Not sure, it was not on our screen, but we're having a peek there. I believe that is Gary Elliott and Brad Melindy, two veteran crafty dudes. But that's going to bring in our friend Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. and the Vidane TV shop online store. Take us back, Paul.
At the tapes here, we can see a little bit of contact between Michael Neary and the 23 Gary Elliott in the 36, and you can see there's a 36 kind of slaps the outside wall there just a little bit. Looks like he almost got it back up and kind of overcorrects it just a little bit, and unfortunately nowhere for the 23 of Michael Neary to go. T-bones in there, so big time damage there on the 23 that you see hits the inside pit wall there, and the 36 tries to get it pointed in the right direction. So big damage on those two cars. Going to have to restart 15th and 16th on the field here. Tough break for these guys.
And a tough break for the 36 of Gary Elliott. He's now going to be 2 laps down, but Gary's a warrior. He's not going to give it up. He'll fight it back and try and get it back up front as he heads down the pit side. Obviously, they got to make some repairs. There was some pretty good contact there.
100%. And just so you know, Paul, the 23 Michael Neary has been swapped out with Brad Melindy doing a driver change. Brad Melindy's rookie event here tonight. But unfortunately for him, getting caught up into that caution, had nowhere to go there as Elliott crossed over there after he spanked the wall. But Brad Melindy picking up a lot of damage, and that's the great thing about the iRacing here is that the damage model on these cars, if you get in a few of these wrecks, you don't have that quick reset here, and you know, you can get yourself in a little trouble, and the next thing you know, you're not going to be able to compete here.
Almost looks like Jason Gosse is contemplating taking the outside lane for the restart here. We'll see what he does when they get a little closer and where he lines up behind that pace car. But he definitely went to the high side just to check it out, and maybe he's just trying to fake out Bob Hutchings. We'll find out shortly.
11 laps completed. Gary Elliott down 2 laps now. Everybody else on the field still on the lead lap here. This is your second caution of the evening. You had that early one there, Jerry. So a bit of the delay here. Not a long green flag stretch, but we'll see what happens here on the restart as they double them up here, getting ready to fire. Quite sure if there actually looks like they may be going for a single file restart here. I thought they were going to go double. The lights are still on the base car as they keep coming around here in Phoenix.
And it looks like they're just going to take another, well, at least one more pace lap around. And drivers get sorted out, get the field ready to go again, give the drivers in the pits an opportunity to get that work done on the race car, get back out there.
2 people have head down pit road so far. The 51 of Matt James headed down earlier on, as well as Gary Elliott. Probably some adjustments to the cars. Now we're going doubling up here, and keep it on that road number 2. Corey Reed, Mitchell Hutchings. Hutchings' first Eastbound Esports race here tonight, making his debut, but son of Bob Hutchings from Central Newfoundland, doing a fabulous job tonight in the 78. Be interesting to see what happens once we get a little rubber on the track here. These guys can get it going.
And it looks like we're going to head around at corner number 2 and down the back straightaway now and see if the pace car gets ready to disappear. There he goes. So green is coming. Here goes Gosse. He is on the gas and gone. No time flat. Bob Hutchings going to settle in right behind him as Mitchell Hutchings in that 3rd spot. But look at this. Here comes the 27 of Corey Reed. He has got some muscle in that race car, and he's not afraid to use it.
I believe Corey Reed's a 4-time champion here in Newfoundland. We haven't seen a lot of him, but hoping to see the 27 back in action. I've been taunting him the last couple of years to come out of retirement. Always a great racer, nice and clean. Is not a dirty player, and great competitor with the rest of the field. But check out that 84. Kind of checked up behind the 27. Looks like he's got a fast machine here tonight. A lot of practice time in for Noah Healy, one of the Bandolero drivers from Eastbound International. But a lot of single file racing here is Noah Healy and the 19 of Ryan Walsh. Now coming on strong on the 27 of Corey Reed.
And Healy looking to the inside. He's looked a couple of times trying to get down inside on the 29 of Corey Reed, or 27 rather, of Corey Reed. Corey Reed likes that outside lane, and there's no doubt in my mind that 84 of Healy is going to take advantage of it. Oh, little tag on the wall just to make sure he was in the right spot. But that has opened up the door. The 19 of Ryan Walsh going to slide down to the bottom and get underneath the 84 of Healy.
Walsh doing a wonderful job of getting away from the 84 once he spanked the wall there. That could have been a little tangly there, but Walsh seen it coming and dropped to the bottom. 84 is going to give up that position as Ryan Walsh takes over, but Phil Fowler now coming off pit road, almost getting into our leaders as they come around here, as slow off the pace here off the pit road. Phil Fowler now managed to get back out. That's going to be 3 laps down for Phil Fowler, probably repairing damage from earlier on. But Matt James, Phil Fowler, Gary Elliott, the only ones to report the pit road here as we have a peek at the 11. And that is the, I believe, the 35. Oh, that is Jacob Lawrence. Brutal numbers to see here as the 5 and the 05 go at it right now. That's Chantel Pottle and Jacob Lawrence side by side coming down the backstretch here. And a bit of a battle as Jacob takes over that position. But look at this. The 5, the lady from CBN, Chantel Pottle, fights back. Rod St. George back there. We haven't talked a lot about him. He's a veteran, crafty guy that goes way back to the dirt tracks of Bay Roberts. And Big part of the St. George family that we see at the track, the Groves and the St. George's at Eastbound International. But Rod St. George doing a wonderful job picking up a spot there as he continues his run, taking a peek now in the 5 of Chantel Pottle and kind of laying back there, but it looks like he wants to take it, but a little bit of forgiveness there. But the 41 machine of Jason Gosse, he's coming up on some hot track.
And the battle right now, all in the middle of the field. Those front two just seem to have disappeared off into the moonlight somewhere. Jason Gosse and Bob Hutchings running away from the balance of the field. They are all by themselves out in front. Lots of comfortable racing room. And that battle in behind continues to rage. As the 77, Bob Hutchings having a look. Staying right on the back bumper of Jason Gosse, number 41. But nobody else really within sight. There's no challenges coming for those lead two.
Yeah, your top two, Jason Gosse, Bob Hutchings, got about a second and a half on the rest of the field. Mitchell Hutchings got a lot of clean air back there as he's got about a second and a half bridge right now on Corey Reed, the 27. Big battle going back there between Ryan Walsh and Corey Reed. Ryan Walsh picking up that spot on Corey Reed. You see the cars here now flaring out 3 wide there as it cut through. Phil Fowler now on a mission, looking for some cautions here so he can get back some of these laps. We got the 23 machine of Brad Melindy is down a lap now, but Gary Elliott gives a tap to Rod St. George. Lots of activity, Jerry, all over the track here, but a couple cars down some laps. Brad Melindy would be the first recipient of the lucky dog. That is the 23 here tonight, if the caution does come out here. But 22 got a bit of a green flag stretch here.
And it looks like the drivers have settled in. They've got that race rust knocked off, and they're finding their groove really nicely here. Oh, that's a little bit rough there as he got right down on the apron. I wasn't sure.
Oh,
that was contact as a result. It didn't take as long as I thought it did.
Well, it was kind of, you seen a little peek of it before it actually happened. Oh! The 5 is Chantel, backs up, and the 51 of Matt James slams the door. But we're going to get a replay here from our friend Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. Paul, take us back.
Yeah, that's rough. And, I remember my racing debut. It was, it looked a lot like that. So rough go of it for the 23. Doing his best to try and get out of everybody's way, but unfortunately it's caught up there in the 5-car. Chantel Pottle shoots around down low into the inside pit wall there, and as she backs up, gets a little bit of a bumpski there from the number 51 of Matt James. So lots of damage on the Pottles machine. So it's going to be tough to see. We got about 50 laps here, 50 on the nose as we cross the line. So a little bit of time to get up towards the front, maybe get down pit road, make some repairs on that car. We'll see what she can do later on.
Well, that's going to bring our leaders back in touch with reality with the rest of the field as they kind of checked out there. Mitchell Hutchings will now line up with Ryan Walsh. Ryan Walsh was having a great run, picking up that spot. That was a huge battle there for P4 between Corey Reed, Noah Healy, and Ryan Walsh. So lots of activity as we cross over to the third of the race here. 25 completed, 50 to go here. Your leader, the 41 DC Auto Machine from Torbay, Mr. Firefighter, Jason Gosse, is full control here. Mr. Perfect so far with 25 gone.
And I think we haven't seen too much action. I know we've been talking about that race in the middle for position, that 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot, but I think we haven't really seen the battle begin yet. I think with only 25 to 75 laps on the board, drivers are still holding back, saving up a little bit for later in the race, I'm sure. But Jason Gosse, well, he's just on a cruise right now, and watching Bob Hutchings chase him around, I think Hutchings has got a lot more race in him than he's showing right now. He's just saving it for when he needs it. No point in putting it to work too early.
I think the poker face is on, but we got someone at the door. I believe that's Tim Terry. Tim, you got a copy?
Poker face. Bob Smith isn't in here. I think he is, but he's over there in the corner. Want to welcome everybody that's watching on Eastbound, the Facebook page, Tim's Corner, Verdane. Paul, I hear a rumor that we may have a NEPS invasion in the next race coming up. I hear Bibby and potentially Dylan Kopech are going to be joining us for the next 75 lapper coming up. So how about that? How about that for news?
That's big news indeed. Neps was off this past week. Those guys have been itching to get racing. They had their Super Trucks Championship, won by 4 Wide Weaponry this past Friday, and the Grand National race before that on Thursday night. And no Neps this week, so hey, we may as well invade Tim's Corner Motorsports special event. Yep.
Yeah, so for those that are out there, if they want to, I have Bob in my ear, but I'll get to him in a second. If you're out there and you want to get involved, you want to do some racing, the session's actually open now. If you're part of the TCM Special Events, head over there, get some practice in. We will be going qualifying about 10 minutes or so following this first 75-lap leg presented by G&P AUTOPRO. So we got some racing to do. I think the lights should be off this time by, potentially, and maybe not, maybe. There we go. We're going to go race next time by.
Yep. But yeah, Jerry, we're doing double duty here tonight, so it's going to be a busy night here in Phoenix. Big showcase coming up right after this. But I believe over 41 drivers going to be vying for the big show here tonight for TCM. Hopefully, we'll see some of these Newfoundland drivers head on over for the double duty, and as they've gotten a little bit of a peek, a little bit of an extra practice here tonight.
Yeah. The 75 laps is always a great little warm-up to do another 75-lap race, that's for sure.
100%, but I got a feeling we got a bit of a wild ride now with the 7741 been doing a fab job out front. It's going to be hard to call between those two, but anything can happen right now. The 19 is coming on strong. Got to give it up for Mitchell Hutchins. Been doing a great job there in the P3, but we are gone back green, and Jason Gosse gets the hammer and comes away nice and clean, retains the lead. Bob Hutchins kind of follows suit, got a great restart there on the outside. Very hard to predict here in the iRacing simulator when you're on the outside. It's a little bit different when you're in an actual race car. So Hutchins doing a great job getting it going here and gets to the back bumper, and only about 0.3 of a second of the difference as he comes on strong here into the corner. But they are separating themselves once again, picking up a little bit of property right now in the rest of the field. But look at this, Ryan Walsh coming on strong in the 19 now. He picks up that spot on the 78 of Mitchell Hutchins.
And Walsh has been showing a lot of muscle here tonight. He's doing some great driving out there, staying out of trouble and trying to keep that car just where it belongs on the racetrack at the right moment, and works his way up into that third spot. Mitchell Hutchins in that 78. Hey, as you said, he's got his learning gear on tonight. Right now, sitting in behind the 19, getting a real good lesson from Ryan Walsh.
I think it'll be interesting to see if we can get Mitchell Hutchins in an actual race car at Eastbound International this summer, as he actually knows how to get around the track here. I don't think this is his first iRace, but definitely his first here at the Eastbound Esports, but doing a great job. But Corey Reed staying within touch, but then Noah Healy in the 84 behind Corey Reed, putting lots of pressure back there. And then behind them, Troy Burke for Prince Edward Island in the 01. Look at this, a little bit of a crossover right now. Noah Healy dropped to the bottom just there briefly on the 27, but we're going to have caution come out here on lap 31. I believe the 041 may be involved. That's Brandon Hiscock, but we're going to bring in Paul, Showtime Strickland Jr., and our Vidane TV shop online store. Get your hats, t-shirts, and your stickers.
All about the stickers. Everybody.
What's the
stickers.
code? Tangley.
Tangley. Get yourself 10% off. Use that coupon code Tangley. We think it's spelled Tangley, so that's what we're going to go with.
Depends on what part of the island you're from.
There's that, absolutely. But here we can see the 041, the 03 up top, kind of slaps the wall just a little bit, comes down across the nose, tries to correct it, overcorrects it just a bit, and whoa, a little bit of jump there from Chantel Bottles, all four wheels leaving the ground there. Might have to take a look at that on the in-car, but there you can see some big-time damage on the front of the nose of the 041, and we're going to back this up just a little bit. It looks like Chantel might have gotten a little bit more contact. Nope, just trying to catch her breath after that jump, and we're going to take a look from the inside, and woo, little Dukes of Hazzard action there, going off-road, and man, the landscaper's going to be mad.
Little yeehaw! Yeah, a lot of paint being exchanged on that last caution, but that's we haven't had that many cautions here tonight, so not too bad. But a lot of clean race cars to the front of the field here. Bit of damage from the mid-pack to the back, but lots of activity on pit road. Chantel Bottle already checking in twice here tonight. Matt James repairing some damages as well. The 51 of Matt James on pit road twice here this evening. Gary Elliott down three times as well. But we got 12 cars on the lead lap. Brandon Hiscock down 1 lap. Phil Fowler will get a lap back. He's down 1. Gary Elliott down 4. And I believe that is Brad Melindy in the 23. He's down 4 laps right now and still checking in with his crew on damages.
It's a tough job to be a pit crew and keep these guys racing. You know, the guy in the car is not as worried about a little contact as the guy in the pit.
I'd be cursing at my spotter.
You'd just be cursing, be honest.
No, I'm Pentecostal.
No. You might get upset at the other driver and, you know, wish they went to church.
Well, I know it'll be exciting come this May too. For rules have been released now for Eastbound International for the sportsmen and all divisions. Hobby stock being released. Bit of an uproar, but I'm sure there's been some conversations back and forth, so I'm sure they'll get it figured out. But always great to have driver feedback when those rules come out. So I just wish everybody in that division to just hold patient and hang in there. But Tim Terry's coming in again. Man, you're a busy man jumping from door to door.
I'm handling all the social medias. I'm listening to the chat in the server. These guys actually are having more fun, I think, than any race that we've had recently on Verdane. Going back and forth, even though we have had a couple of caution flags and a couple of yellow laps in here, but they're having a blast. So if you're out there and you're watching us on the Eastbound Facebook page and want to get involved, shoot Mike a message, shoot me a message. We can get you involved here in the next one. But I want to say hello to Haley Taylor and all the crew watching in there. They got the race in the big screen tonight, Mike, so they're doing it in style. So want to say hello to them and hope they're enjoying some racing and hope they stick around for race number 2 coming up, the TCM Special Events 75. But we're doubled up. We're about halfway through on laps. We're halfway through the time limit right now. This is a 75-lap race or a 60-minute race, whatever comes first. So hopefully we get some green flag laps in here and we can get closer to the finish.
Just press the button, Tim, and let them fly.
That would be not pressing the button, though.
All right, well, we're double up, ready to go. Lights are out on the Mustang, and a big shout out to all the fans back home. Let us know on Facebook who you're cheering for, who you think's going to win this one. I got a couple of favorites in the front here now, but who knows? We'll see what happens here. Anything can happen here in racing, but 35 laps completed. The Mustang has exited. Jerry, we're set to go, and Jason Gosse fires once again with a huge jump here. But look at this. Ryan Walsh almost tried the inside there and kind of checked up, decided not to put it in there.
Yeah, I was watching Walsh. I thought he was going to go for that inside line and try and take a couple of spots there on the restart. He decided, no, I'm going to fall back in line and play it safe. I don't think he needs to make a pit to repair damage. He's got a good race car. He can do a lot of things with it and put it where he wants. So looks like he's just going to mark his time and try and chase down those front 3. I just don't know if anybody's got anything for Jason Gosse.
I know once you get into the 10 lap to go here, that is when these guys got to get a little bit more race here and take a little bit more risk. But at this point, halfway through this race here, as we get cross flags, these guys are showing a bit of patience here tonight and being nice, as shall I say.
And now you've done it. We're probably in line now for one of the biggest wrecks we've ever had, just because you said they were being nice and patient. But
I'm sure
Gosse may finally be feeling a little pressure.
Well, Hutchins has been dominant here all night, and I believe for Jason Gosse, but Jason Gosse has been driving this whole 38 laps with lots of pressure, driving with the rear view, taking a peek, trying to protect that lead and clean air. But Hutchins has always, throughout these 39 laps now, has applied that pressure to the back of the 41 and not letting them out within a car length pretty much throughout this whole race, half carring them, checking to the bottom. And it'll be interesting to see what unfolds between these two drivers. Will Hutchins play the move early, or will he hold it for the last couple of laps?
Well, my guess is, watching him so far, I'd say look for the last handful of laps. That's when you're going to see that 77 come alive and make the move. For now, he's just going to sit on the rear bumper of Jason Gosse and see if he can help him to make a mistake along the way. right in behind him. Oh, a little tag on the wall by Mitchell Hutchings. Let's see if that hurts him ever, or if it opens the door just a little bit for Ryan Walsh in that number 19. He's been chasing him down the same way the 77 has been sitting on the 41.
Walsh had a huge debut in the Hanlon Realty U.S. Legends this past summer, and got a couple of races under his belt, and started out in the hobby stocks and has a huge future for 2021, and excited to see what he has for us. This guy knows how to work on the car, and spends a lot of time thinking about strategy, and it'll be interesting to see. And he's one of the top guys that we've got out of the island that actually compete in the TCM events and throughout the Atlantic Canada and the U.S. in the iRacing simulator.
And it looks like we got a battle shaping up here for what could be the 5th spot. The 84 of Noah Healy trying to hold on, but boy, he is definitely seeing some pressure from the 27 of Corey Reed.
Troy Burke, Matt James going at it right now within a 10th of a second as well as that bruise up there. Troy Burke from Prince Edward Island. He's got Matt James, one of the pit crews at Eastbound, taking the wheel here tonight in the 51 from Conception Bay South. That's Matt James, applying lots of pressure on the track champion Troy Burke. A few battles brewing throughout this throughout the surface here at Phoenix. I'm not on Facebook just yet, but just going to check in to see if anybody's out there. Who wants to say hello to some of our drivers? Who you cheering for out there, and where you calling from?
Matt James doing a great job, but these two guys up front, these are a class all their own. Jason Gosse and the 77 of Bob Hutchings, they are just simply cruising out in front. They're staying just behind so they don't have to worry about lap traffic, but boy, they are pulling away on the field. They are safely in front and putting on a real clinic to anybody who wants to take some lessons on how to navigate Phoenix International Raceway.
And I want to give a big shout out to Pat Squires, the owner of Eastbound International, tuning in tonight. I'm sure he has the itch to get back to the track, and heard some rumors that they might be working on a few extra cars here this year. The 18, possibly Shannon Squires coming back after taking a year off. So lots of activity in the garages now that the rules are out, Jerry. You can only imagine how many people are probably in the garage right now tuning in, watching this while they work on those race cars for the season start.
Oh, you bet. Everybody be out in the shop getting ready. It doesn't take much to get the fever burning when you start getting close to race season. Once the rules come out, the word starts going that we're getting ready to run. Everybody's on it. And I can only imagine what goes on in the shops.
Lots of wobbly pops.
You think about it. They've had all winter. They've had most of the fall to work on the race car. They're looking at it today.
Well, a lot of them, they're playing around, doing a lot of stuff, and there's usually that 3-week crunch right before race season starts. That's when you start seeing progress. But I'm sure there's a couple of people within their bubbles. We are in a lockdown here in Newfoundland, Labrador with the outbreak of recent. So, but I'm sure some of the family members are out in the garage or around the TV here tonight, tuning into Vidane TV, and big race here tonight for Eastbound Esports, and Jason Gosse, Mr. Perfect here, but Bob Hutchings keeping within reach, but that mid-pack there is really brewing now as the 51 Matt James, and look at this, the 27, they're going to come up on Noah Healy. Noah Healy may lose 2 spots as Corey Reed comes on strong, goes door to door with him down the back stretch, and coming into 3 and 4, Matt James going to connect to the back bumper of the 27 and get past the 84, but the 84 not giving up too easy as he applies more pressure to the outside. Look at this, coming back, fighting back, Noah Healy in the 84.
And Corey Reed sat there waiting. He picked his moment. He took the spot when he had the opportunity with no danger, and now the 51 of Matt James tucks in front of that car of Troy Burke. Just, trouble. I guess he got a little closer than he should have.
We were on board of Noah Healy. Healy back of the 51. That's going to send Matt James around. or probably getting a penalty for that to the back of the pack for the cause of the caution. We'll leave that to the people in the other room. But we are under caution. It's going to bring in our friend Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. We seen it right there live, but take us through, Paul.
Yeah, you know, every time I switch over to that in-car view, the driver always ends up wrecking. So maybe I'm going to stop doing that. But there you can see the 84 shoots down low. It looks like he was going to try and maybe pick off two cars there, the 51 and the 27, and just going for the same piece of real estate there. And started kind of spinning them out, gave him a little bit more of a nudge, and backs it in ever so slightly into that outside wall. There you can see the back end of the car. Doesn't look too bad. No damage to speak of really on that number 51 of Matt James. So good news there. Get about 25 laps, maybe a little bit less than that to restart. Going to be restarting within the top 10. So maybe one of those deals where it's kind of no harm, no foul.
Well, Jerry, I got a funny feeling. A lot of people going down pit road, but Phil Fowler's going to stay out here. He is down one lap, but I believe he will get the lucky dog here. Fowler, having troubles in lap number 1 with that incident with the 03 of Robbie Cable, is now going to be on that lead lap and fighting back. But there's a ton of activity right now on pit road. Gosse, Hutchins, Walsh, Hutchins, Mitchell, Corey Reed, Troy Burke, Noah Healy, Rod St. George, Gary Elliott, all checking in with their crews right now. And your new leader right now is the 03, Robbie Cable.
They're coming down to a Saturday night shootout. Let's call it what it is. So short laps, and they're going to make the most of it. The driver's going to top off the field. I don't know, maybe a couple of guys getting tires. It's going to be interesting.
Well, we're 2/3 of the way, and strategy is definitely playing in right now. But a couple of people taking advantage. Rod St. George decides to stay out. Matt James and Robbie Cable now your top 3. Hutchins now will get off pit road in front of Jason Gosse. He'll pick up P4. Gosse will now start on the inside of road 3. So a bit of a shake-up here, which makes this race a little bit interesting here at Phoenix for our first 2021 esports here at Eastbound International. So a lot of the guys, Tim was saying, they're having a bit of fun in there, and I can't even say that word. But everybody playing nice so far. But I got a feeling the gloves are going to be coming off with 5 to go.
Well, I think by the time we get to 5 to go, it's going to be an all-out war in that front section. I think there's some drivers that are capable of giving Jason Gosse a run for it, that's for sure. But let's see how he makes out now. It's been easy for Gosse so far. He was out front. All he had to do was get a good clean start, and away he went. So is that going to be the case now as we get the restart and he's back in the field? He's got traffic to get through now.
And just looking at the amount of laps that are on the tires, Robbie Cable, our new leader, the 03, has 28 laps on those tires. So he reported pit road 28 laps ago. Phil Fowler reported 40 laps ago. But he is on the lead lap now. Phil Fowler in the 11 from G&P AUTOPRO with that early incidents. Now getting back into the game here. Bit of a game changer, but is also running with a 40-lap set of tires. So hopefully he can get a caution to come out here before we conclude here. With 21 to go here, needs to pick up a bit of rubber here.
Got to keep an eye on that 77 of Bob Hutchings starting on the bottom side of the racetrack on the inside of road number 2 there. He's got a couple of good guys in front of him to get by, but remember, he made a pit stop. He's got good tires, and he's ready to rock. So let's see what he does on the restart. He could be the biggest threat. Who knows? Maybe Robbie Cable will get a little bump start off this green flag.
Well, lights are up. Mustang is off. We are set to go. Robbie Cable with the hammer as he comes around, passes the commitment. He fires right away. A little slide job there as Hutchins now battles with the 1 of St. George. St. George kind of puts a wall in front of the 41. The 41 plays it safe, but here comes the 19 of Ryan Walsh. We got contact to the back. The 41 of Brandon Hiscock hard into the wall. We are still green flag. They're going to let this go. We've had a few cautions. If it's a single incident, they usually keep it going here as we continue to fire here. But Bob Hutchings, the 77, will be your new leader, giving chase. Robbie Cable, Ryan Walsh. Walsh picking up P2 now on Robbie Cable. And Jason Gosse now getting clear of some of that traffic, finds himself in P4. But the gap right now, Gosse 0.4 of a second. He's going to get past the 03 of Robbie Cable as well. Gosse, hard charging right now.
And we talked about Ryan Walsh all night in that number 19, how good he was and how he was watching carefully to see where he needed to be. He's in the catbird seat right now as he sits in that second spot just behind the 77 of Bob Hutchings. Jason Gosse in the 41, he's worked his way up to third. That's going to mean a lot of work for Walsh.
Well, going back to the old racing days, tires, tires, tires. And we're seeing that right now. Robbie Cable with 32 laps on those tires, where everybody else picked up those fresh rubbers of Goodyears on those cars, making a huge difference right now as Gosse gets around the 19. But the 19 coming back, firing on all cylinders here, on full attack now, trying to get to the back bumper of Jason Gosse.
Meanwhile, out in front, Bob Hutchings just kind of looked in the rearview mirror and went, "Oh, I'll knock it down 1,000 RPM." He's got away from him, but I don't think he's safe yet. Gosse is on the move.
A lot of time spent in the server throughout this week. The 41 machine is looking really hot here tonight, but about a 1.2 second gap right now Hutchins has built. But looking at the last lap, Gosse got him by about 0.8 or actually a full 1/10 of a second. So that's going to pick up pretty fast here as they knock off the laps here. 59 completed as they come around here. But Hutchins in full control with still a 1.1 second gap on Jason Gosse. But hard charging, and Ryan Walsh staying within reach as well.
The one thing that Bob Hutchings doesn't want to see right now is another caution flag. That 77 is flying out in front. He's got a good distance on Jason Gosse. He knows how fast that 41 car is. He doesn't want to give him a chance to get there. He's just going to hold it out in front and run nice clean laps in nice clean air. He's got it his way right now. Ryan Walsh in that 19 running in third spot. Mitchell Hutchings in that 78. He's in fourth, and that's a pretty respectable spot for this guy tonight, as he has been quietly staying in the top 5.
Nice paint job on the 78. Kind of looks like the 68 of our good friend Chris Ryan's paint scheme. So very familiar with that paint scheme going back to the Thunder Valley Speedway. Not sure if it's a throwback, but I know he's got the Jimmy Johns on the front. But nice looking paint scheme here tonight. Reminds me of Chris Ryan. The 68 forever at Eastbound International. I know, Justin, you're probably tuning in tonight, but big shout out to your old man here. The paint scheme brings back a lot of memories for a lot of fans.
And once again, we're finding the drivers kind of settling in for a few laps here. We've got just over 10 to go, but a dozen laps or so still to race. So watch for them to cool the tires maybe a little bit, and then they're going to pick up the pace. I'm going to say by the time we hit lap 70, it's all out war.
Yeah, that gap right now on Hutchings and Gosse has brought it down to about 0.9 of a second. Fowler still in the picture. He's 9 seconds behind, but still on that lead lap. A lot of tires, 50 laps now on the 11 machine, so that's a huge disadvantage. Robbie Cable, Phil Fowler, not opting to go down pit road, picking up the lucky dog, as well as taking a chance on the front line there, but not working out here as tires, Jerry. You do it your way, you do it my way, but tires will most likely always win.
You get a nice set of Mr. Feelgoods on the race car, and you put the hammer down. You know you've got the bite. You're going to go for it and take all you can get. So we're seeing the effects of that right now. Bob Hutchings in that number 77 out in front. Just looks like he's having a Sunday drive. I know it's a little tougher than that, but he is hitting all his marks, keeping it where it needs to be as he goes around to complete lap number 65. We're down to 10 to go.
Wouldn't it be nice to be in Phoenix right now? 78 degrees, 2-mile-an-hour wind, humidity of 1%. Wouldn't it be nice? But anyways, we're here in the virtual world, and it's all Bob Hutchings in the 77. To give you an idea, Jerry, about the actual difference between the nice new Goodyear Feelgoods on some of these drivers that pitted, you're talking about 0.3 of a second from the old tires to the new tires. So you add a couple of laps in there, and next thing you know, you're down 3 or 4 seconds. So obviously the strategy worked out for our leaders right now. Bob Hutchins, Gosse, Walsh, and Hutchins. Corey Reed, the top 5, all reported to pit road 14 laps ago. But with 8 to go here, it is all Bob Hutchins, and that gap actually has grown. He is now 1.4 seconds ahead of Jason Gosse, as Gosse has fallen off just a little bit, but trying to pick up some speed. The last lap actually was a second, 1.1 seconds faster than Jason Gosse. So Hutchins throwing down some weapon of lap times here tonight, and does not want to lose here tonight. Representing the veterans here tonight, Bob Hutchins, going all the way back to the dirt tracks, and one of the founders of Thunder Valley Speedway, almost a Hall of Fame here in Newfoundland Motorsports.
Yeah, we talked about him earlier. We said we thought he had a lot more race car than he was showing, and we were right. He's now showing it because now it matters. He's got less than 7 laps to go to the end of this thing, and he is running away, but there is a battle still for that 3rd spot as Brian Walsh trying to hold off the 78 of Mitchell Hutchings. And I don't know. Hutchings looks like he's got a lot. Corey Reed's going up high. Here comes Hutchings down below, but he backs out of it as they come down out of the turn.
Well, father-son combo, Mitchell Hutchins probably had that car set up identically to the 77. 2 quick race cars here tonight, but the 19 holding on to that position. As for now, 6 to go here. It's all Bob Hutchins now building a 2-second gap right now on Jason Gosse. The last thing Hutchins wants to see is that yellow silk, as we see the 78 of Mitchell Hutchins getting around the 19. I got a funny feeling Walsh let him go, probably talking back and forth throughout their Discord, but what a check up there as he almost slammed into the back of the 78, and he opted for the wall. Talk about a gentleman.
I started to wonder if he had a tire going down the way he headed all of a sudden up to the high side of the racetrack, but it was just hard on the binders and trying not to make the contact that would have cost him a race.
Well, the 41 down quite a few laps. Brandon Hiscock. We haven't talked a lot about Brandon, but hopefully excited to see him back in the saddle in our Hobby Stock Series at Eastbound. I know he does a lot of work away, and we haven't seen him quite often, but we're seeing him now as turning some laps here, having a bit of fun with the boys and gal. Chantel Pottle's out there, not an all boys club here tonight. So we're seeing the 23 of Brad Melindy. He's making his debut at Michael Neary's ride as Hutchins tries to get around some lap traffic. Melindy's going to let him go here with 4 to go here. Without that caution here, Jerry, this is going to be a clear sail for the 77 of Bob Hutchins.
Well, we told him he had a lot more muscle in the race car than a lot of people thought he had, and he was just holding it back, waiting for the right time. Now is the right time, and he's showing it off. But unless something happens that's very unexpected and very bad luck for the 77, Bob Hutchins should be able to cruise that car all the way through to the checkered flag. He is showing all kinds of strength. His lap times, he is increasing the gap on Jason Gosse. It's now over 2 full seconds, and that's a lot of ground to try and make up with just 3 to go.
And just looking at the gaps right now between the competitors, everybody seems to be flared out, so not a lot of issues here unless we get a tire go down, and it's going to have to be something big for the officials to throw that yellow silk here, as we do tend to not throw the yellow prematurely here. If it's only a single car, we continue to try to keep it green here. But Bob Hutchins is having a little issue right now getting around the 84, but he's going to take the high side as the 84 lets him go. Elliott now in the 36 could be an issue here. White silk in the sky as Elliott, the gentleman, is going to let our leader go. Final lap here at the G&P AUTOPRO 75. Oh, baby. Bob Hutchins, the 77 machine, dominant all evening. Did not lead the first half, but when it counted, he made it work here. Checkered flags for the Bishop Falls native, the 77 of Bob Hutchins. Jerry, what a night, man, for a guy that goes all the way back to the dirt to come here and a young man's game and school these guys here at Eastbound International. Big congratulations to Bob Hutchins.
And one thing I'll say about Bob Hutchins, he showed what the meaning of patience really is. He sat back behind Jason Gosse for the first half of the race, stayed within a car length and never faltered. Knew he had what he needed, but didn't need to show it early. He just sat and waited. When the caution flag came out, he took full advantage. Fresh rubber, quick pit stop, got the lead, and never looked back.
I think tonight's win here in the fourth session for the Eastbound Esports may bring out Bern Hickey and Pat Squires. So we're going to call those guys out. Bern Hickey going all the way back to the 60s. He's an all Hall of Famer as well, back to the first early days of asphalt racing here in Newfoundland, Labrador. He has been working on the sim, but hopefully we can get Pat Squires to come out of retirement as well. I'd say he's biting at the bit right now, seeing Bob Hutchins grabbing that precious checker flag. We got Tim Terry in the room. Tim, what do you think for the first race for Eastbound Esports here in 2021?
Race is pretty good. It's Phoenix, lots of wide open space, and I don't want to say it's an equalizer because these drivers have to run it a different way compared to what we're used to seeing with like a Langley or a Lanier or a Myrtle Beach or any of those short tracks that are on this iRacing sim. But it's a different breed, and Bob Hutchings, lightning quick on pit road, able to take away the victory through that lap traffic. Jason Gosse in second, Mitchell Hutchings in third. We're going to see if we can't get any of the top three on here to have a couple of words with them, but we're going to get ready to – it's not necessarily hop the jet because we're at the same place, but hop in and get ready for the next race here in just a few moments' time. I think for the most part, everybody was happy. We got one person that's not exactly too happy with a call, but you have that in racing. We'll move on to the next one.
We're having a bit of fun, and big shout out to all the fans tonight. I know we're excited to see you back at trackside, and stay tuned as we have a couple more of these peppered throughout the spring and the late winter here. But we're excited to get back. The rules have been put out for the drivers. A lot of chit chatter going on, and a message from myself and Bob Smith and Patty and all the management at Eastbound International and the family. Rules have been put out, but we're listening, and stay tuned as the guys. They're not bad guys, and I see some chatter there, so hopefully we'll get all that straightened out with you guys. But great evening, Jerry, and still lots to come. Brent Roy just jumped in with us, but we're getting set to go for a double feature. We do not have our top three in here, so I don't know if we're going to be able to talk to our winner as he's having some technical difficulty with the Discord.
He just won a race. We already know where he is.
Yeah, he's got nothing to say. He's got the checkers, but I'd say he's on the phone right now with Pat Squires calling him out, and it'd be great to see some of the veterans out there. I know Bern Hickey's been talking about it for quite some time, but to see some of the guys that go back to the old days and the dirt racing here in Newfoundland, Labrador, and getting into this technologically advanced system, because I can tell you, I tried it out myself, Jerry, and it's not easy. And I've got a racing career going back 20 years ago. And, I can tell you, these guys put the time in, and they do a great job wheeling these cars, and a lot of technology in this, and details are so fine tuned. It's unbelievable. We've called a lot of races here for TCM, and down to the fuel, and in this incident, Hutchins coming off pit road a half a second or 0.5 of a second faster than Jason Gosse, and then taking full advantage of as Jason Gosse tried to navigate through that traffic. So that's racing. It's been great here, and I don't think we're going to have our race winner in here, Tim, but I guess we're going to final thoughts, Tim and Paul.
Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, great little like you made mention earlier, it's a good warm-up. 75 laps, getting ready for a 75 lapper here, and pretty cool to see that some of the NEPS guys are going to come in. Dylan Kopak and Libby and Bibby, and there's a couple of other guys in the old driver group chat that we're going to hop on in and see if they could maybe try and race their way into the showcase coming up here in just about a month and a half, right, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's April 14 or 15, I think the date is. Actually, I was just hopping servers myself and getting over to the other side. So we are approximately 5 minutes-ish away. Actually, Bob Hutchings is tagged on to the back of this one, so he's actually still on the racetrack getting some laps for the next one. So he's going to try to go back-to-back here this evening by the looks of it. But, yeah, we're about 5-ish minutes away, so if you're watching us on the Eastbound page, you're watching us on Tim's Corner, Vidane, you're watching us on YouTube, you've got approximately 5 minutes or so to go grab a drink, I'm going to do so myself, and then we are going to go racing again. We're going to have some qualifying, a couple of heat races, a couple of consies, and then we'll roll with a feature event for 75 laps.
31 drivers going to be in tonight's event, so we're looking forward to getting y'all back here.
Hey, Mike. Why don't you talk to Jason Gosse?
Hey, Jason Gosse is in the room. Jason, how are you, buddy? You got a copy? Jace.
Hello?
Hey, Jason Gosse, 41 machine. Dude, what a run, man. You were almost near perfect, the halfway point. You had a bit of issue there on pit road with Hutchins coming out 0.5 of a second faster than you, and then you had that restart where almost you had a roadblock, a wall in front of you, and then Hutchins checking out. Take us through your night and what it was like to race with your eastbound counterparts here tonight.
Yeah, I think overall it was a good race once we got going. I think Bob was a little quicker than me in 1 and 2, and I think I was a little bit better in 3 and 4. And I was able to hold them off, but once he got ahead of me there coming out pit road, I think that's what determined the race right there. And like you say, that restart.
Big game changer there, but great run. A lot of chatter in the back and forth here tonight.
It wasn't too bad, I guess. I just concentrated more on the race.
We're not listening to the hooligans, eh? But great run, bro, and always a pleasure to call you. I know you got some friends that help support you, and who you want to thank here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Doug Critch, DC Auto. He's been helping me out a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll call in. I guess Doug is all the way up in Fort McMurray. I'm sure he's tuning in. Big thanks to Doug Critch and to DC Auto for supporting motorsports, not only in Newfoundland, Labrador, but also in Atlantic Canada. Big part of the racing season in the community. But big shout out from all of us, and maybe we'll get a DC Auto 75, and I'll get a pizza and a dozen beers shipped to my house again. But big thank you for that, by the way, Doug. And from all of us, excited to see you guys again. Jason, we look forward to seeing you tonight. You're going to do double feature here tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go over and see how I qualify.
Get in there and see if you can give Bob Hutchins a run here.
There you go.
Great run from all of us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, no, 10-4, and shout out to Bob there. Congratulations on the win. And thanks for you guys for putting this off. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent, man. And we look forward to having you back again, and maybe we'll go back to the short track and really dice it up for you guys. But we'll see you soon. Just a moment. We're going to take a break, Paul, and switch over to the other server. And Jerry and Paxton will be joining us from Race Time Radio, and we'll be with you in just a moment, I guess.
Hey, I'm CTWE Wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Living with anxiety or depression can make everyday situations and interactions seem impossible, and getting the right help can be expensive and inconvenient. We're changing that with Tranquility. Our program follows the highly effective gold standard, cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people change negative thoughts and unhelpful behaviors by teaching them skills to practice in real life. Using Tranquility is convenient. You can move at your own pace from your phone or computer, and you don't have to do it alone. Your one-on-one coach is there to help keep you motivated and supported all the way through. If you're ready to unlock the tools you need to approach the day with confidence, visit tranquility.app to sign up for a free trial.
Well, we told you we'd be back, and here we are. We are back again. We didn't even have to hop on the jet. I mean, I did jump over on the jet. We got a little mini bar in there, so we made a little Jack and Coke. We're going to watch some more racing here on Vidane TV. This time up, Tim's Corner Motorsports special event for the Tim's Corner Motorsports, the TCM Live 75 here at Phoenix International Raceway. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. here sitting next to Jerry, just keeping Mikey's seat warm here while he goes steps out for a quick smoke.
No, I was not. That's
He
bad.
did, but it wasn't quick.
Hey, did you get my big soft pretzel with mustard?
I got you a popsicle. You want to go down? But we're back in. We're doing a double feature here, and Jerry Paxton from Race Time Radio. Jerry, you had a bit of a warm up though, but we're gonna go right into this one. It looks like we're gridding already. Sitting on the pole on this one, the 56 Tanton Woolridge will have the 34 of Mike Reno to the outside of row one.
And on row number 2, it's going to be the 30 of Keith McClellan and the 019 of Jonathan Pollard sitting in that 4th starting spot.
In row 3, the 90 of Craig Kenny. He'll have the 41, who's the runner-up on the last race, Jason Gosse of Torbay.
Starting on the inside of row number 4, the 05 of Craig Tully, Timothy Green, and the 802 will start 8th.
And complete the field in row number 5, the 54 machine of Jaden McNeil. He'll have Johnny Byron in the 57 to the outside. Sitting scratch right now, not in the server, making it in time. May end up in an LCQ. Mitchell Montgomery and Todd Tufts will have to go to the LCQ Hooligan last chance for romance if they can make it back in time. Whoa, Jerry, what do you think, bud?
Well, this is going to be a wild one because I can already tell. I think if I remember right, I heard somebody say 5 per heat will qualify. We got 10 cars on the racetrack. Look out.
Half the field will make it to the big show here tonight. 75 laps will be on the main event. Pace truck is now exited. It'll be all up to the 56 of Tanton Woolridge to get it going here. He fires, but look at that. Mike Rhino slides in there, but look at that. Keith McClellan hard charging now with the, I believe that's the 19th of Jonathan Pollard to the outside. Door to door they go for that position number 3.
Down that back straightaway into the turn number 3. They are still bunched up together except for Tanton Woolridge, who's got that 56 car on rails. He is out in front. Mike Rhino, the 34, are trying to chase him down, but the two of them starting to pull away on the pack. And that's going to make for a lot of frustrated drivers behind him.
Jason Gosse in the 6th position and Craig Kenny, the 90, trying to fight for that P5. We are taking 5, like you said, Jerry, and it's going to be a brew here as Craig Tully now enters the picture. That is the 05 as he takes a peek to the inside of the 41 machine of Jason Gosse, but decides to check up and hold off. This is a quick one, only 8 laps on the board. We are a quarter of the way, 3 laps completed as they continue to fight here with the 41 coming on strong on Craig Kenny's number 90.
And Jason Gosse realizes he's in 6th spot. He wants to go to the big show without having to run a whole lot of extra laps in racing. Got to do it now. Got to gain at least 1 position. That means he's got to find some way to get around the 05 of Craig Tully, which he does. Now he's got to do a little defensive driving, make sure he doesn't lose his spot.
Tully hard charging him right now, applying lots of pressure to the back bumper of the 41. Gosse with already a 75 lap worn-up feature with the Eastbound Esports earlier on. Knows the quickest way around, had a strong car earlier on. Now as he takes a peek to the inside of Kenny, but Kenny holding on to that one coming into the apex and kind of separate just a little bit as Jason Gosse is starting to run out of time here as we cross the halfway mark.
And a little defensive driving being done in those 4th and 5th positions, the 19 of Pollard and the 90 of Kenny. They're just making sure that nobody gets by them because they're qualified. They're going to the big show. And right now, Jason Gosse has got a big handful of work to do if he's going to get around that number 90 of Kenny.
Well, Kenny now picking up a spot as Pollard spanks the wall just a little bit. As they go to the door, could open the door for the 41 if he can get to the back bumper of Kenny's number 90. Pollard to the outside, now tries to slide in. A little wobble there, now tags the 41, but the 41 manages to maintain composure here and gets around, and the 19 is on its roof. What a stick and a land. He is rolling and tumbling, and 10 points for style. That's the word I was looking for.
First try.
We are still under green though, but as we see a little bit of a replay, as we're still under green, but Tanton Woolridge still in control of this race. Mike Rhino, Keith McClellan, the Bud Light machine in P3. Craig Kenny holding on to P4, but Jason Gosse in that precious 5th position. Final lap. White Silk out for Tanton Woolridge's 56. Bando driver from Prince Edward Island in control here tonight.
And he's going to take it down that back straightaway the final time into turn number 4. He will bring it around. And coming down the front straightaway, checkered flag is going to be in the air. No problem for the 56. of Tanton Woolridge, Mike Rhino, Keith McClellan, Craig Kenny, Jason Gosse, all making the big show.
Rest of the field will have to go to the hooligan race, little LCQ, last chance for romance. Still have a shot at making the show here tonight. But big congratulations to the young gun, the 56, Tanton Woolridge, picking up checkers here in heat race number 1.
We said it was going to be exciting. I didn't exactly expect to see a car doing barrel rolls and flips in the first qualifier.
Well, if it's a little foreshadow of what to expect once we get to the TCM Live 75, it should be a good doozy here tonight. We only had 16 cars starting the Eastbound Esports. A lot more cars will be vying for the big win here tonight in this. A lot less room, but we're getting set for heat race number 2. Sitting on the pole for this one, the 9 of Campbell Delaney will get the pole call here, and he'll have Stephen Matthews in the 198 to the outside.
On road number 2, the 46 of Ryan Libby, and right beside him, the 13 of Dave Cassidy.
Row 3, Brody Lewis in the 122. He'll have Aiden Christensen to the outside in the 24.
On row number 4, the 16 of Quentin Carpenter will take the inside. The 26 of Brent Roy will take the outside, starting 8th.
And completing the field, Tony Wright in the 09. Brandon Lively in the 70 is not checked into the server, so he'll have to start scratching, probably end up in an LCQ. But a race winner from earlier on from the G&P AUTOPRO 75, the old dog, veteran from central Newfoundland, Bob Hutchings, knows the quickest way around this track here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see what the 77 has for us from back of the field.
Yeah, there won't be any pit stops in this one to give him an advantage.
Yeah, big game changer on that pit stop with 25 to go. Picked up 5/10 and sailed away with the big win, but we are set to go. Pace truck has exited. Campbell Delaney fires. And look at this. Ryan Libby, I believe, is going to pick up that spot on Stephen Matthews. As they all flare out, Matthews kind of goes back in reverse here, and I believe he will land in P4 as they all fight almost 2 wide there, almost into a 3 wide situation. But they are all battling at the back as Bob Hutchins tries to come up from the back. And look at that, the 24, Aiden Christensen, under fire right now from Brody Lewis in the 122.
And Christensen in that 24, he is the 5th place car, the final qualifier right now. So he is going to feel some pressure, and he's going to feel a lot of it in a hurry because here they come, trying to chase him down and take it away. Brent Roy in that number 26. Back in there looking for a spot as Christensen doing that defensive driving thing, using the rearview mirror to try and keep everybody behind him.
Well, that is one spot I would not want to be in these heat races, especially with 8 laps on the board. I'd be applying a lot of pressure to that 13 of Dave Cassidy to try to get into P4, but we're seeing Brent Roy coming on pretty hard right now, the owner of 660 Speedway up in New Brunswick. He knows how to get around pretty quick here. But look at that. Bob Hutchins went from 10th all the way to 7th now. And Hutchins on full attack on Brent Roy. This could be a doozy with 5 to go.
There are a lot of games being played right now as they battle this out for position. And there's the contact. That was Bob Hutchins just tagged him in the back end just enough to turn him around.
Yeah, Brent Roy was kind of deciding on what line he wanted to have the attack there. But Hutchins getting into him. We're going to stay under green here in the heat race, but they are going to go all the way back to 9th and 10th, and that's going to bring in Brody Lewis in the 122. He's going to be looking, trying to get around the 24 as with 4 laps to go here. Not a lot of time in these heat races, so you got to go.
There's no time to waste and no time like the present. They are all over this one. As Campbell Delaney got that great start, he is out and gone in that lead position. But the battle right now is back here for that 5th spot. Aiden Christensen, the number 24, holding on to it. He's got the, I believe that's the, is that the 06 or the 16? 16, I think. No, try again. 122, it's Brody Lewis. Brody Lewis all over the back end.
Yeah, and he's looking to try multiple different lines here and try this up. kind of a little bit of a chess match going on right now between the 24. Could be an advantage to the 16 of Quentin Carpenter as he tries to go up to the top, but he gets full on blockage for the 122. Brody Lewis shuts down that run on the 16. The 16 now trying to bottom. This is going to get wild as the 16 checks up almost into the back bumper of the 122. And with 2 laps to go, this is the race in this heat race as top 4 have checked out. Single file, no big disgruntled battles at the front, but right here, this is the battle. The 16, a little tap, tap, tap to the back of the 122, and they're going at it. There's an advantage right now for the 24 as Aiden Christensen gets a little bit of a gapage here. White silk in the sky for the 9 of Campbell Delaney, but the 122 not looking to give up here as he throws it in here. We got 2 turns to go here. Can Brody Lewis make it stick here? He's going to try to bottom below the yellow. It's going to be Christensen hanging on to this one, though. What a wild finish here in heat race number 2. Man, what an exciting night we're going to have here in the TCM Live, Jerry. But our top 5, Campbell Delaney, Ryan Libby, Steve Matthews, Dave Cassidy, Aiden Christensen, moving on to the big show.
And Brody Lewis in that 122 gave it everything he had. Short of dumping the 24 of Aiden Christensen, he gave it everything he had, and it just fell a little bit short.
They even tried the bottom below that yellow line, which some tracks is a no-no, but no call here at this one. But we're set for heat race number 3, and out of North Carolina, one of the top contenders here in the TCM Live events, also the champion of the RBR Series. The 33 of Brett Suggs is going to get your pole here in heat race number 3. Mark Williams in the 42 to the outside of row 1.
On the inside of that second row, the 02 of Ashton Tucker. And right beside him, the number 23 of Joey Stiers.
And in row number 3, the 27 4-time champion from Newfoundland Labrador, getting a bit of practice earlier on in the Eastbound Esports. He'll start in that 5th spot, Corey Reed. He'll have Chris Walsh in the 18 to the outside.
Starting on the inside of that 4th row, the number 29 is Daniel Vetch, and beside him, the number 11, Phil Fowler.
And in row number 5, Troy Burke and Dylan Kopak will be back there, and completing the field, Mitchell Hutchings. Now in the 35, we got to see him earlier on in the 78 and in the eastbound race. So a couple of drivers from Newfoundland Labrador, a little bit of an advantage with that 75 lap warm-up.
And this one just looks like a whole lot of fun. Look at who's where on the racetrack and who's in that 5th spot. And behind them, 5 guys coming, and they're all in the hunt.
5 guys fries. It's going to be an interesting one because there's big dogs in this one. Suggs gets away nice and clean, but look at this, the 42, hard charging. Ashton Tucker was a huge breakout competitor in Atlantic Canada this past season on the real racetrack, and took home a big win at the Oxford Series for the TCM Season 1. But looking to be a big night for the O2 as he comes on into P3. But we're going to keep an eye on the 27 of Corey Reed. He's in P6 now, trying to get up on the 18 of Chris Walsh. That is your transfer spot, as that's going to be a battle for the next 6 laps. 8-lap shootouts here, as we get a little bit of a tangly situation to the back. I believe that was Dylan Kopak kind of losing a little bit of momentum there, but Fowler and the 11 coming clean away from that. But a lot of battles right now as Ashton Tucker decides that he doesn't want to be in the P3 and decides to go door to door with Mark Williams in the 42.
And Tucker thinking about where he's going to start in that big show. If he can gain another spot, that means a couple more as he gets into the starting lineup for the big one tonight, the big 75 lap feature. So he's doing everything he can to improve the position. That's where he's got a fast race car. He's going to test it out a little bit and see how it works. But that cutoff spot now belongs to the 18 of Chris Walsh. He's in the 5th position. Corey Reed in the 27th. He's looking, but down low, I'm looking, that's the 29, Daniel Vetch coming on.
Yeah, Chris Walsh is probably going to have a handful here with 5 to go here. We got some hard chargers here. Reed and Vitch. Fowler may come into contention here. But now we're taking a peek as the 27 makes a move now. He's going to get past the 18, I believe, and come up strong as Walsh now on his way backwards.
And that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for Walsh as he loses 2 spots in a big, big hurry. Corey Reed in that 27 now moves up into that 5th spot. He's the guy with the target on his back, and somebody wants to get that spot away from him. And behind him right now, the 29, Daniel Fitch, going to work.
And one car on the move, Phil Fowler in the Tow Labrador. He looks like he's a bit racy right now as he tries to pass the 18. Taking a peek to the bottom here. Fowler looks like he has a bit of speed here, but he's going to run out of time here with 3 laps to go here. He's going to have to get on the hammer.
He's looking down low, trying to work the inside of the racetrack. But all of a sudden, it fills in. Chris Walsh drops that number 18 right down in front of him, takes the lane away. So Fowler's going to have to try a different strategy if he's going to get by him.
And in our transfer spot, Daniel Vitch still within reach of the 27. Your top 5 right now. Suggs kind of checked out, got 9/10 of a second over Ashton Tucker and Mark Williams, Joey Stiers. Corey Reed, like you said, big target on his back. And this seems to be brewing right now. Is at 29, kind of hard charging right now. About 2 car lengths in the difference here. The gap between the two is about 2/10 of a second. But White Silk is out for Brett Suggs of North Carolina to the 33 machine. Total control here in heat race number 3. Can Corey Reed hang on here? Your top 5 moving on to the big show. The rest of the field will land into that last chance qualifier. Taking a peek right now on Brett Suggs to 33 as he sends it home around the corner here. He's going to pick up some checkers here and some prime real estate in the main event. Big spot here, and I believe he'll start on the inside of row 2, but the 27 will hang on to it here. Vitch having a great run there in the 29, but just not enough as some of the field was wrecking there. But the top 5, Brett Suggs, Ashton Tucker, Mark Williams, Joey Stiers, Corey Reed moving on. Rest of the field, got to fight it out in the LCQ. And no wasting time here, Jerry. We are set to go with heat race number 4. Oh, I believe we're going to go to, are we into an LCQ? Yes. 12 laps, but we got Tim Terry coming in, banging on the door.
Well, I figured I'd let you guys know that I thought we were taking 2, but guess what? Bonus, we're taking 3 from each of these. So the first one will have 9 cars, or up to 9 cars. The second one will have up to 10. We are going to take 3 from each of these and throw them into the 75-lap main feature presented by TCM Live. And I know you guys mentioned our last heat winner, Brett Suggs. He's actually the defending champion of this race. We ran 100 laps here during the first wave of the pandemic, and it was Brett Suggs going to victory lane in that. That was I think that was the Porter's Lake Fire weekend, because I think there was a couple of drivers scrambling to try to find Sims that weekend to try to get into the seat. But Brett Suggs looking pretty good right now. RBR champion. He's looking pretty good in the heat, so potentially a chance to get up here and win himself a race. But we'll roll off these LCQs. Looks like we are gridding 8 of them here. We are going to take the top 3 and put them in the main.
Well, that's going to be Johnny Byron going to get the call here to the front row here on the inside. Daniel Vitch to the outside. We just seen him. He looked real racy there, but managing now to the front row of this LCQ, the 29.
Then it'll be the number 16, Quentin Carpenter. He'll start on the inside of that second row. On the outside, the 802 of Timothy Green.
Fowler, who looked really fast in that last heat, he'll be on the inside of row number 3 in the 11. Brett Roy from 660, he'll be to the outside in the 26.
Jonathan Pollard is scheduled to start 7th in the 19 car, and beside him in 8th, the 01 of Troy Burke.
Pollard still on pit road. He is in the server, but he's going to have to get out soon because the pace truck is off. We are going to fire. Johnny Byron gets it going here, and look at this. The 16 of Quentin Carpenter drops to the bottom here and kind of trying to slow down the 29, but the 29 will dip in front and maintain that position number 2, but Fowler now hard charging here behind the 16 of Carpenter. He's going to find himself in the 4th position, but like Tim said, only 3 will make the show, so the big precious spot will be Quentin Carpenter's spot. Fowler now testing the outside, but keep an eye on the 26 as Brett Roy comes to the bottom of the 11.
And Brent Roy on the move. He is trying to squeeze by now. Him and Fowler get side by side, trying to find both of them are laying around the 16 of Carpenter. It just wasn't there.
Little contact between Brent Roy and Phil Fowler. Fowler tagging the wall. That's going to bring him all the way to the back of the field as he falls off the ladder here. Brent Roy now charging for that precious real estate. But the 16 of Quentin Carver decides he does not want to have the target here. And he's going to apply lots of pressure on the 29 of Daniel Vitch. And kind of half carring him right now, sneaking to see what line Vitch will decide here as he dips to the bottom here and then kind of looks to the outside. A bit of a chess match, but a bang to the back bumper. Tap, tap, tap. The 16 gives it to the 29, upsets the balance, but here comes Brent Roy.
And Roy took advantage of that little bit of contact between the other two as he brings that number 26 underneath the 16 of Carpenter and now headed to take it under the 29 of Daniel Vitch.
You have to be careful here now as Brent Roy finds himself in a transfer spot, but that is close quarters right now between our P2 to P4. Daniel Vitch, Brent Roy, Quentin Carpenter going at it for a transfer spot. This will be their last opportunity tonight to make the big show as Roy will go to the bottom here, almost to the quarter panel, and the 16 wanted to go with him but decided to try to outside. This continues to brew with 7 to go.
And this is going to take a little bit of patience. You don't want to show it too early. All it does is move the target from one guy to you. You don't really need that. So I got to pick your moment. And if you get the advantage, take it. And it looks like he grabbed it right there.
Yeah, Brent Roy did not want that target. Got to the door finally. Got to the quarter panel earlier on, but decided to let it go. But this time around, he got to the door. The 29 almost pinned him to the bottom. But Roy being able to get through here. And now it's all up to Quentin Carpenter, who's on full attack on the 29. The 29 manages to have an exit out of the corner here, gaining a little bit of some real estate now in the 16, but the 16 close it in fast.
And we're just past the halfway. We've still got a long way to go. And that means a lot of defensive driving for that number 29 of Daniel Vitch, because the 16 of Quentin Carpenter is determined to make the show and take that third spot to get there. So he is putting all kinds of pressure on him. He is glued to the back bumper.
I wouldn't doubt if we see some red bumper paint on the back of that black and green 29. As you don't want to show your move too early, though, as he gets to the rear quarter now, and looks like the 29 almost tried to pinch him in. The 16 decides to check it up here, but now coming up, trying to get to the door. Vitch still managing to hold on here very tight coming out of the corner. Oh, boy, this is going to be a dandy as these guys battle for that transfer spot. Daniel Vitch, Quentin Carpenter going at it here tonight. One will be sitting here tonight. Oh, there we go. That is a doozy as the 16 spanks the wall, trying to compete with the 29, upsets the 16 and could open the door for the 802. Now the 802 is coming up on the 16. 16 still maintains that P4 though, but man, what a huge gap the 29 got out of that disruption with the 16 into the wall.
You know what they call that P4? Non-qualifier.
Watching with popcorn.
Yeah. So he is not going to be content to sit there. I wouldn't be surprised if Carpenter tries to pull something off. I don't know how bad the damage is. He did tag that wall pretty good. The 802, Timothy Green, going to give it all he's got to see if he can make it up. I don't think he was expecting that Carpenter was going to tag the wall. When he did, he had to stay out of the mess. That put a big gap between them and the 29 of Vitch.
Well, with 0.8 of a second advantage for Daniel Vitch, that's a huge gap. Now it's over a full second. Vitch is now clear sailing into this big show with 2 to go here. You know, we're going to check in with our leader, Johnny Byron. Has a huge gap right now on Brent Roy. Our leader, John Byron, in the 57 machine. Then it's Brent Roy with a 1.7 second delay on our leader. Vitch, 2.6 seconds back. And now Timothy Green, and now our P4 is 3 seconds back. So this one's pretty much a no-brainer as the white silk will come out for the 57 of Johnny Byron as he coasts around here on a Thursday night. Looks like an easy one for him as he comes around there final couple of corners down the backstretch through 3 and 4. Johnny Byron is going to be your feature winner here in the LCQ, picking up a decent spot in the lineup for the TCM Live 75. Your top 3 qualifying here tonight, the 26, Brent Roy and Daniel Vitch. What a battle we just seen, Jerry. That was a bit of a foreshadow of what we could expect here tonight. But the gloves come on in these LCQs because that's your last chance.
And that's what it is. It's a last chance, and there's no holds barred. They went for it in every way. It's exactly what we expected to happen. And Johnny Byron, the class of the field, he took off on that green flag and basically waved goodbye, just kept on going.
Well, setup is obviously proper in that machine, but big shout out to Jonathan Pollard, Phil Fowler, Troy Burke, Timothy Green, and Quentin Carpenter. Some big runs from those guys, but they're going to be watching from the grandstand here tonight. Sold out here at Phoenix, but we're getting set now for another LCQ. We're going to see 3 of these, and sitting on the pole on this one, the 122 of Brody Lewis. He'll have the 05 of Craig Tully to the outside of row 1.
And on row 2, the number 18 is Chris Walsh. Beside him, the 09, Tony Wright, will start in 4th spot.
Inside of row number 3, the 554 of Jaden McNeil. He'll have Dylan Kopak in the 4 to the outside.
Bob Hutchings in that number 77 will start in the 7th position. And beside him, the number 35 of Mitchell Hutchings. That would be the son. So father-son taking up that final row.
And unfortunately, Mitchell Montgomery, Todd Tufts not making it in time into the server here tonight. They will be sitting scratch, and we'll be watching for the grandstand. But bit of father-son combo. What a great run both the Hutchings had in the Eastbound Esports Series earlier on. They had 75 laps on the board. They do know the quickest way around here. Hutchings, Mitchell switching up the number. I believe there was a conflict with number. We're now taking the 35 here tonight. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in this one. Only 3 going to make the 75. Page truck exits. It's going to be up to the Brody Lewis, the 122. He fires, and what a great start from the 5. Not sure what's on the go with the 122 as he falls off the ladder. The whole field clears the 122. Man, did he miss his shift or what happened? I got a funny feeling he missed the shift, Jerry.
It looked like that's what happened because he just didn't fire at all.
He died.
And then just fell.
He died.
It's like somebody pulled the power plug.
Yeah.
Craig Tully, that 05 is shot out in front. He's got the lead. He's starting to run away. Dylan Kopak in the number 4. Right now, Bob Hutchings, the 77. He's already up into that 3rd spot. He's got the final qualifying position. I don't think he wants the target. He's going to try and run away from that 09 of Tony Wright.
Well, Hutchins had such a great run. Hopefully he can get clean pass here as Tony Wright battles back. They go door to door. That is the 4 of, or is that Dylan Kopak? Dylan Kopak is on the outside, and I'm kind of lost here.
Kopak on the outside, the 77 of Hutchings on the bottom. And Hutchings showing a lot more strength as he tries to make the pass. He is in the 3rd qualifying position. He'd rather be in the 2nd one where he doesn't have to do as much defensive driving.
I took a right instead of a left. Hutchins is in the transfer spot. What some great wheeling right now from the 77 come from left. His son in the dust. The 35 of Mitchell Hutchins finds himself in the 7th position. But keep an eye on the 09 now. He is on attack from Chris Walsh, the 18. Drops to the bottom back there for that precious P4. A little bit of a battle, but hot right now between Dylan Kopak and the 4 and Hutchins. Like you said, Hutchins does not want that target, but there's a huge gap right now between our top 3 and the rest of the field. They have built up an 0.8 of a second bridge right now on Tony Wright's 09 as they battle back there with the 18 of Chris Walsh.
And it doesn't look like Hutchings is going to settle for 3rd as he gets down to the bottom of the racetrack. Gets underneath the 4 of Kopak. Down they come into the turn, and Hutchings with the nose in front as they come to the straightaway. Can he keep it there?
Well, door to door as they go drag racing down the stretch into 1 and 2. But precious real estate in the starting lineup for the main event here. These LCQs will be starting behind the top 5 from the heat races. So every spot is going to make a difference. But these LCQ winners, these transfer spots, are still got a big night ahead of them as they're going to be coming up through the back of the field. But if I was Hutchins and the 4, I'd kind of calm down because you don't want to get into some unnecessary contact here and be sitting at the stands.
And that's exactly what I was thinking too. Is Junior Hanley always told me, doesn't matter what you do in the heat, the money is in the future.
Junior Hanley, man, oh man, I can only imagine the veterans and Hall of Famers that career racing, part of the Race Time Radio crew, and big shout out to Joe Chisholm and the guys. They're probably listening at home. I know always wanted to come on board there tonight, but big move for them. And once they get their internet set up, it'd be nice to hear some of those guys involved in some of these iRaces.
Oh yeah, we'll get Joe and Junior back at it.
I know Junior was probably going out of his mind when McDonald won the Daytona 500. But I can only picture the expression on Joe Jr.'s face when that happened on that final lap, and McDonald taking his first race win, and to beat Daytona 500. What a magical night for him. But it's so great to have racing season back. You know, during this pandemic, we've done a lot of iRaces. Jerry, you got to join me quite a few times. And but we got a quick peek at some races. Some of the guys up in New Brunswick had a full season. But it'll be exciting to see what 2021 has for us. A lot of exciting stuff in the NASCAR Cup Series. Michael Jordan, Pitbull's involved. You know, I've been seeing tweets of NFL football stars trying to back up some of these young guns coming up through the ARCA Series now. A lot of exciting things going on in the racing world right now.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff, and we're so excited. We're really looking forward to getting back to the racetrack. I got my sleeve rolled up. I'm ready. Put that needle in it and let's get going.
Yeah, there you go. But road course at Daytona, you must have enjoyed that. I got to say, I come back from a Formula racing career, but it's always great to see the Daytona run. Those restarts, it's unbelievable. You know, I like Indy and I like F1, but man, there's nothing like NASCAR on a road course and those restarts coming in out of turn 1. It's just unbelievable. So 2 to go here, Jerry, and it's all Craig Tully right now. Back to this race as a lot of clean air for our top 3. Dylan Kopech, Bob Hutchins with a huge gap. White Silk is out for the 05 of Craig Tully. 0.8 of a second gap over our P2. So Tully coming away clean here as he comes through the final couple of corners down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Craig Tully of Nova Scotia in the 05, picking up a huge win here and some position in the main event. But your top 3, like I said, Tully, Kopech, Hutchins, Wright, Hutchins, and Walsh Lewis will be sitting for the grandstand. And man, Kopech throws it into the wall there for a photo finish classic.
Why not? He's got time to fix it.
Well, that's the great thing about virtual world. You can wreck your heat race car and start with a brand new one in the main event. So unlimited budgets here in the iRace. But what a finish from Craig Tully. Dominated that whole 12-lap LCQ. But we're getting set here for the main event, brother. No messing around here. And some of these guys we did not see. Mike Alexander, the 75, who qualified in the qualifier earlier. Bear Bonner in the 304. He's to the outside. He's a veteran, crafty guy. That will be your front row for the TCM Live 75 here tonight.
The second row is going to include the number 56 of Tanton Woolridge. And beside him, the number 9, Campbell Delaney, will start in 4th spot.
And your race winner from the earlier on in the 2020 season here at Air 33, native from North Carolina, Brett Suggs will start on that inside of row 3. Mike Rhino, the 34, also a partner in crime with Mike Alexander here tonight. He'll be to the outside.
Starting on the inside of the 4th row, the number 46 of Ryan Libby, and right beside him, the New Brunswicker, the 02 of Ashton Tucker.
Row 5, the 30 Bud Light machine of Keith Daddy Mac McClellan. He'll have Steve Matthews out of the Halifax area, the outside.
Mark Williams in the number 42 will start in the 11th spot on the outside of row number 6, the number 90 of Craig Kenny.
Row 7, the 13 having a great run in the iRacing Series. Dave Cassidy, he'll have the 23 of Joey Stiers to the outside.
Starting on the inside of that 8th row, the number 41 of Jason Gosse. Right beside him, the number 24 of Aiden Christensen.
Lights out on that pace truck. Johnny Byron, Craig Tully, Brent Roy, Dylan Kopech, Daniel Vitch, Bob Hutchins, all to the rear of the field here. But we are set to go as Mike Alexander fires and Barrett Bonner. These are our 2 qualifiers that did not have to battle in the heat races. Coming off with a huge jump here in the start of this race. Bit of action back there for P4. That is Campbell Delaney and Brett Suggs. A lot of action mid-pack here as Ashton Tucker tries to hold off Suggs in the 33. Delaney, I believe, or Ryan Libby to the outside of Suggs.
And a lot of racing action early. We've got 75 laps. This is only going into lap 2. These guys are putting it all on the line really early. But Mike Alexander in that number 75 looking like the class of the field out in front. He's got a nice little gap on that second car, the 304 of Barrett Bonner.
Good view there earlier on of the full field. 23 cars starting here tonight for the TCM Live 75. A lot of single file action right now as they get some heat in these tires. These guys are veteran drivers here in the TCM Live events. They know that to get too crazy here in the early parts at 75 laps. I got a funny feeling, Jerry, we're probably going to see some pit road activity. Strategy was a factor in the last race. They pitted at lap 50. Both these races 75. A little bit more cautions in the first one, but we'll see how long these green flag stretches play out to be and who goes down pit road. I don't think we'll see some green flags as Mike Alexander kind of tends, if he's out in the lead, he may stretch the whole 75.
We'll see how they make out. Definitely somewhere around lap 40 to 50. That's where I would be looking for pit stops if they're going to happen and we're long green flag runs. That'll be where the pit stops happen. They'll want that fresh rubber to finish this one up because that's when the aggression is going to really take hold, is as we get down to those closing laps. Right now, looks like everybody's kind of settling in just a little bit. Not saying they're content, but they're testing it out.
Having a peek right now at Tam Woolridge, the Bandolero driver from Prince Edward Island, putting a bit of pressure on Campbell Delaney, the 9. Rhino's back there and a bit of half car right now as Tam Woolridge closes the door to the bottom. A couple of different lines we're seeing here from some of the competitors testing out the feel of the track here. But back to those pit road activity, we've seen about a 0.3 of a second gap on fresh Goodyears versus 29 lap Goodyears. So it'll be interesting to see if that plays an effect at the 2/3 mark because 0.3 of a second here at Phoenix is a huge amount of time.
It doesn't sound like a lot when you think about it on the clock, but in a race car, it's an eternity. So they're going to try and shave some of that time down as they raced, but the gap is there. It's comfortable. Right now, looks like everybody, as we said, just kind of taking their time, measuring the competitors, having a look at what lines they're running, getting a feel for the car as to where they can take an advantage. But we got a long way to go. These guys, I'm surprised that we're seeing the patience. We didn't see patience in the heat. And we're seeing a lot of it showing early here.
Now we're seeing the 46 of Ryan Libby, now on the back bumper of the 33 of Brett Suggs. That is Keith McClellan back there getting a little bit of action from Stephen Matthews. But like you said, calm and composed here in the first 8 laps as they log some green flag runs here. Tire cycle starting to heat up here. So you may see some action as the next couple of laps unfold here. Looking at the score ticker here, most cars within 0.2 of a second, so a lot of within reach activity.
A lot of measuring, I think, going on right now as drivers just watch to see who's in front of them and what line they're running. They're looking for a place. What's the lane I can get him on? Where's the spot on the racetrack that he's maybe not as good as I am? And I think there's a lot of that schooling going on right now as they have a look at it. Mike Alexander in the 75 out in front, he's got no problem whatsoever. But little battles like this one that we're looking at right now between Dave Cassidy in the 13, Mark Williams in the 42, just testing. I want to see how you react when they start to go around.
Well, we've seen a little bit of activity in the heat races. Cars, we're getting to the quarter panel, but checking up, not wanting to wreck their car here. As we see some of the cars kind of sliding coming out of the corner here. Could open the door as Jason Gosse takes a peek to the bottom. Can he get to the door to 42? He will. They will go door to door as Gosse will get the pass on the 42. He picks up a spot. Jason Gosse now finding himself in the 15th position, and Mark Williams, or 14th position, as Mark Williams goes back one.
And here we see them once again, the 304 of Barrett Bonner. Looks like he's going to put a run on the 75 of Mike Alexander, currently the leader. Let's see how he makes out. As Alexander drifts a little bit high, Bonner's just going to follow his line. And again, still within, I don't know, a couple car lengths of him, not letting him really get away. We'll see if he's got something for him as we get further in.
Well, you see the licenses on a name web timing. Mike Alexander, one of the top contenders here in the virtual world, here in the iRacing series in Eastern Canada. It's going to be difficult to get around him. It's got to be precise. Even if you get to the bottom of him, he tends to kind of pinch you down kind of cleanly. He will not throw the contact there. But I've seen quite often someone trying to bottom on him, and he really gets down on you and almost like takes away that ear and manages to fight back to the outside. So we'll see as he continues to gain a little bit of a gap right now. And Barrett Bonner picking up almost a half a second now as you see him work the wheel here and trying a little bit of different line than the rest of the competitors, kind of working a little bit of I guess studying the track right now, looking for that extra grip, and it seems like he's found a bit here, and that research is paying off right now as that gap now is 7/10 of a second, another 2/10 on that last lap. Mike Alexander getting a little quicker lap after lap.
And keeping an eye on the number 9, Campbell Delaney, as he is in the 3rd spot, but he's kind of leading a small train. Tanton Woolbridge in that 56, the 34 of Mike Rhino. They are all in a line just kind of measuring, and I have a funny feeling that 304 Bonner might be in trouble before we get too much further into this race.
It looked like Mike Rhino in the 34 machine really trying to totally out in left field kind of line as he dipped all the way down to the bottom, trying to pick up a little bit of speed there. No, he is partners here tonight with the 75, so I can only imagine that they are chatting back and forth on their channel. And I don't know if there's some feedback going from the 75 to the 34, looking for a little bit of extra grip in certain spots of this track. And but it's always interesting to see teammates work together here in the iRacing sim, even on the real racetrack. But I'm sure there's some communication going right now between the 34 and the 75.
And one thing we do know about the Phoenix racetrack, it can be a little rough on tires because that racetrack, no matter how many times they cleaned it, remember, they're in the desert. That track is forever covered in sand, and it takes away a little bit of the grip, makes you work those tires a little harder than you normally want to. And we'll see if these lap times start to slow a little as the drivers get further into this. We're 17 of 75. We got a long way to go, but these guys are putting on a show right now. Here comes the 9 of Campbell Delaney looking underneath the 304 of Bonner, Barrett Bonner. And Bonner just kind of, oh, you're coming? I'll just give a little more gas here and we'll get away from you.
A long way, but a short time to get there.
Exactly.
A little eastbound and down for you. But Delaney looking pretty sharp here in the 9. Kind of sizing up Bonner as he throws it in here in the corner. Really brings in that yo-yo close to the fist there. And I got a funny feeling Delaney may have a move the next couple of laps as he tests it out here. He doesn't want to throw it in there too hard and use up some of that tires, because tires are going to be precious here in the desert. 19 laps completed, everything nice and clean, all green flag, big huge green flag run here from our competitors here at the TCM Live 75. 20 laps completed, and you see Delaney reel in that 304, kind of comes off the fuel. I believe he's kind of saving it there. He's testing the waters on Barrett Bonner and trying to wait for that precious moment. But Tanton Woolbridge is going to be full attack right now. May go with him if he can get to the back bumper. So Bonner's got to be careful here and not allow those Delaney and Tanton Woolbridge to get to the bottom of him.
That front five has started to pull away just a little bit on the rest of the field, but watch that 304 of Bonner. He's the guy that's got to do the defensive driving right now. Delaney, Woolridge, and Rhino, who are following right behind, those three cars are just measuring because as you alluded to, Mike, I have a really funny feeling that if somehow Campbell Delaney can get underneath the 304, there's going to be a freight train going with him, and Delaney may find himself not losing one spot, but losing 2, 3, or 4.
Well, you see the 9 kind of come off the fuel there, looking like a real quick car here. But you got to remember, Bonner and Mike Alexander were our pole setters, quickest lap times in the qualifier. But Delaney has got something for him here tonight. As you see several times, he has come off the fuel looking real quick now as Bonner comes all the way down, almost halfway over the yellow. Delaney now applying lots of pressure, now gets to the quarter. Delaney could get there, and I think Bonner's going to let him go as they go door to door coming out of the corner here. Delaney looks like a strong contender and may have something but Mike Alexander, but Bonner fights back and picks up that P2 once again. Unbelievable here is what we see in here on lap 23 as our front 5 completely setting the tone here tonight.
And when Delaney got underneath, it looked like he almost could have completed that pass and decided, no, not yet. I'm just going to pull back and let Bonner think that he's still got me. We'll see if that was the strategy or not, but it did look like that 9 car's got a lot more than he's showing right now. He's just holding on to it, keeping it in reserve, because when he needs it, he knows he's got it.
Yeah, it's definitely testing the waters here as we get to the 1/3 mark. Tires are going to come into effect here in the next 20 minutes, I believe. We've seen Mike Alexander go to distance. He is out in front, nice and clean, not using a lot of those tires and kind of really rolling into the corners. And that is one thing that Mike Alexander is good at, is conserve. He's got conserving fuel, conserving tires. So without any cautions, I know they're not flicking the switch on the motor. So fuel may be a factor here as Phoenix tends to use up a bit here as Delaney comes back on attack here, and you see him come off the fuel. It looks like the 9 is very racy here tonight. It's got something for us, but like you said, kind of hold the cards back and waiting for the right time. This is not the time to use up your car at the 1/3 mark.
The last thing you want to do is make those tires angry, because then you've got nothing working with you. They have to be happy. So he's not overworking the car, but I think Delaney in that number 9 is just setting his sights on Barrett Bonner in the 304. And as I said, 56, Tanton Woolridge, I've got a funny feeling he's going to be right there when Delaney decides to make the move. Woolridge is going to go with him.
Well, it's interesting to see, are these cars, a lot of strategy with the guys when it comes to practice throughout the week. Do they set them up for the long run? Do they set them up for the short run? We've seen in some of the other series that we see a lot of pit activity under green. And right here with a full stretch, no cautions here tonight. Those that have set up for the long run here are going to be at an advantage. Unless we see those cautions. And Jerry, cautions, precautions, this could flip all the way to the other side as we stack this field up. And there we go. I just called it. Yellow flag here on lap number 28. I jinxed it. I do apologize, but that's going to stack them all up. But it's going to bring in our good friend, Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. We haven't talked to him all night except for the intros when he saved my seat. But Paul, take us through.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the Verdane.shop instant replay, see if we can find out what brought out the caution here. Did look down at timing and scoring real quick. Saw Brent Wright pointed in the wrong direction. Didn't catch who that was or what that was, but yeah.
All your caution cards, the 24, one and only.
24, one and only. We're going to pull that up. That's going to be Aiden Christensen, and there he is going the wrong way. And we'll show you guys out there in Race World, and we're going to zoom in so you can see exactly what went down. You can see right in front here, just kind of loses the back end of the race car right in front of, I believe that was the 57 of, or the 27 there of Corey Reed, and doesn't hit too hard, grabs a gear, points it in the right direction, gets that AIM construction car rolling again. There we go. Grabs a gear, gets it pointed in the right direction, stays on the lead lap. A lot of heavy damage up on the front of the car.
Paul, just to add to that, we instituted a rule at TCM starting on the Wednesday night series. If that was the case right there, that would be the 24 stopping to bring a caution out. That would be a penalty, a multi-lap penalty on pit road. That rule is being instituted beginning Wednesday night with the TCM Weekly iRacing series. But with this one here, we're going to let it go. Aiden Christensen is the only caution car. He will report to the rear of the field for that.
And we only have one taker for pit road. Corey Reed is going to take advantage of this, to the back of the field. He's going to take a quick spot here. Maybe he'll take the idea that he'll get 45 laps. Get 75 earlier on with the eastbound race, so he's got a good feel here at Phoenix Legacy. So 22-second stop for Corey Reed in the 27 there, Jerry.
And Mike, I think that we're all listening when you said we know cautions breed cautions. We've had one now. They're expecting more, so don't waste your pit stop here. We've got a lot of laps yet to go.
And, that could be an advantage for Reed, taking the only lone soldier down pit road. Because if the rest of the field go down on the next one, Reed will be at a huge advantage right now. So strategy, a big factor as we get close to the halfway mark. 31 laps completed. Lights are out on the Page truck. Mike Alexander will get things started. But on these restarts at the halfway point, too wide coming into turn one, could get a little interesting as we get down the back stretch. Page truck will be exiting here. Alexander will get it going. Barrett Bonner had a good look in on the official start earlier on. We'll see what he has for us, but keep an eye on Campbell Delaney on the inside of row number 2. He's going to try to get to the back bumper to 75 and time this near perfect. As here comes the truck, now he's going to exit. Alexander has wasted no time and fires right away, and all of a sudden goes to the top side immediately. And Delaney snuggles into the P3 once again. Top 3 is Alexander, Bonner, and Delaney. But look at that, lots of action, too wide. Been a spankage off the wall for the 46.
And this is going to bunch up the field. That nice long stretched out, we've got lots of room to race situation is gone now. They are back in close quarters on the restart, and there is some scrambling going on for position. Here we watch the number 34 of Mike Rhino. He is trying to get underneath and get away from the 46 of Ryan Libby. Libby giving him a battle on the outside, as in front of them the 56 of 10 Woodward. He's just joined in that front straight line, trying to stay there and make sure nobody's going to chase him down.
33 crossed over in front of the 02 of Ashton Tucker. If Tucker did not come off the fuel, would have got tangled, but the 30 tries to get past the 02, gets into the rear quarter, and the 02 sends the 30 around and leads the 29 of Daniel Vitch hard into the wall. But we'll see a full replay of this from our good friend Paul Showtime Strickland. And like I said, Jerry, cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, we talked about it. They get in close quarters and look out.
Paul, take us back, bud.
Yeah, this is one of those deals we want to take a look at the slow motion replay here. You can see McClellan up into the wall just a little bit, comes down. Just a little bit of a tap there to Ashton Tucker, sends him down onto the inside wall. Joins the 30 car down there. A couple of taps there, but then we can see Daniel Vitch gets spun around here and gets T-boned by the 24 of Christensen. So more damage to the front of that 24. We did see a couple of cars a few nights ago have some front end damage and end up blowing up or later on in the race. It was actually last night in the Fatheads Cup Series. But we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on the 24, see if he's got any kind of terminal damage to that car.
Well, Christensen and Daniel Vitch now reporting to pit road. Ashton Tucker, I believe, is down there now as well. No takers from our top contenders here. Corey Reed is still at an advantage. He's going to find himself 19th position now. But the leaders, what I would figure, I got a funny feeling Mike Alexander is going to try to go to distance here. Ooh, Brett Suggs, the 33, top contender here tonight from North Carolina, is going to play the strategy game. He's going to drop down, and he's going to report. Joey Steyer is going to report. Keith McClellan. So with that lap around, 36 gone. The light is out, I believe, on the Pace truck. But we got activity on pit road. These guys got to get it going here, as they're going to be doubling up very shortly as the pace truck gets set to get things going here. We are at cross flags here in just a moment here, Jerry. Halfway gone, but pit strategy a little bit earlier than what we thought for some of these teams.
Yeah, I would have thought they would have waited for probably another 5 or 6 laps, but maybe they're hoping the cautions are done now and we're going to go a green flag all the way to the end. I have my doubts, but we'll see what happens. I've been wrong many times before. But yeah, I thought a little bit early, but fresh tires will make a difference. We've seen that already. We know that a couple of tenths, if you can pick up a couple of tenths with a new set of tires, that can move you through the traffic in a big hurry.
Well, if we have another big, long green flag stretch, this is going to be a game changer for some of the teams. But lights went back on that pace truck as they bring them around. Now doubling up. Barrett Bonner on the outside. But keep an eye on that 9. Campbell Delaney kind of did a wonderful job there. But Mike Alexander really changed things up on that last restart. Jumped up to the top side. We've seen the outside line a little bit quicker around here at Phoenix. So Mike Alexander definitely more excited to the outside line here at Phoenix. So we'll see if he can get clear of Bonner and go to the top again and see what Delaney in the 9 has for us.
Yeah, keep watching Delaney to see how tight he's going to try and stay to Mike Alexander, because that is going to be the key on the restart. If he can hold on to that back bumper, he might be able to snatch that second spot away from Bonner. Here it is. Look at Alexander take off. And Delaney on the bottom, he's going to get a run on the 304 of Barrett Bonner. And right now, it is the 9. Oh, he comes up the racetrack. That was a nasty-looking block. Could have been a whole lot of trouble.
Well, I think there was some exchanging, but that's going to upset the Barrett Bonner machine. Libby and Dan Woolridge now coming under on the bottom of Bonner. Bonner on his way back, and look at that. That line gets really tight back there. Bonner may find himself in trouble. But we're having a peak now at the 75. He did exactly what I said. He was going to go to the top side and upset that run from Bonner. But Bonner now sliding back almost to P5. That is Mike Rhino now on the charge to the bottom.
It's what we expected. Once Campbell Delaney found a lane through, it looks like the 46 of Ryan Libby and Barrett Bonner just simply got shuffled. That's all there is to it. He got to the outside of the racetrack, couldn't get back down to the bottom, and they started to come by underneath. He's got a lot of fighting to do to gain what he had before.
Well, he's in that position right now. Some stealth fighters back there as Mike Rhino does not give up the bottom here too easily as Bonner tries to get to the bottom here. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems Mike Alexander is favoring Bonner trying to get to the bottom here. He will finally clear the 34, and I believe that's the 56 of Tam Woolridge trying to get in there as well. But Bonner now finally settling in to P4 with Mike Rhino on attack right now as he tries to come up through the field.
And we're 41 laps in. We've got about 34 to go. This is where it starts to get interesting. I think those little couple of passes on the restart have set everybody ablaze, and they're all on fire now to try and get down into the positions they want. They've seen the long green flag run, and nobody seemed to be able to gain any ground. So they're going to start now with the war, and here come the shuffle as they come down the straightaway into the back.
Some big dogs getting taken out of the field here in that last caution. Ashton Tucker, Aiden Christensen done for the evening. They are now outside the server. Corey Reed still sitting on pit road, probably repairing damage. He's going to find himself down 2 or 3 laps here if he can get back in time. As his crew work on the 27, the laps continue. 20 cars still on the lead lap, keep McClellan in the 20th position. But a lot of single file racing here now as they all chase the 75 of Mike Alexander through 43 laps gone. I believe that's going to bring us to 27 to go. No, 32. 31.
So, are you calling,
Hooked on Phonics worked for me.
What are we doing?
Hooked on Phonics worked for Mike. Well, that's a little alphabet, isn't it?
Mike Alexander had the pole position on this one. He got out in front. He has not wavered from that spot since he got started. So he's had a good clean run. Campbell Delaney worked his way up into that second spot after he got around the 304 of Barrett Bonner. So I'm wondering if Delaney might have something for that 75 of Alexander. He, again, may be just waiting, biding his moments, but we're going to find that out in a few laps.
Well, if I was in the seat of the 9 of Campbell Delaney, I'd be taking careful notes of Mike Alexander's line. He's favoring the outside, and he's hitting it. He's built almost a half a second on Campbell Delaney, but Delaney has managed to keep that gap consistent. And looking at the last lap, I believe it was only 2/100ths of a second in the difference between the 9 and the 75. But if Campbell Delaney's smart here now, he's going to have to study the 75 for the next 29 laps because eventually it's going to get to the point that Delaney may have that opportunity to make a move. But Bonner's going to go hard into the wall. Rhino kind of got into the back of him. It looked like Bonner kind of lifted, and the 34 kind of drives right through him. But we'll get a full picture of this. That's going to upset everything here. Game changer here on lap 47. This is the position that you thought the pit road would come into a factor, but we'll take a peek here with our friend Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. and the Vidane TV shop. Get your stickers, get your hats. Vidane TV is the hottest thing. New t-shirts coming out. Make sure you pick up that Tangley shirt. $27 to go here. We'll probably count another one here. Caution, but look at this. Here comes the field. But Mike Alexander staying out, like exactly what I thought he would do. Trying to go the distance, but a lot of the field right now heading down. Ryan Libby, Mike Rhino, Tant Woolridge, Craig Kenny, Steve Matthews. A lot of the top 7 here. Strategy here at the 50 mark. Exactly what we thought. Now we're seeing the rest of the field come down. We almost have a full pit stall here, and this is where do you take 2, take a splash of fuel. I've seen in some of these simulator runs where someone takes a little bit of fuel, made a big difference in the outcome of a race there, Jerry.
Yeah, if the driver's not thinking about conserving fuel, he's driving the race car. He's concentrating on passing cars, not watching how much fuel he's burning. So that's going to be interesting. Mike Alexander, great strategy. If he's confident enough in that race car that he thinks he can stay out and go the full distance, well, that's confidence in your machine, and he's probably got a crew chief in his ear telling him, don't worry about it. But, you know, hey, let's be honest. He hasn't had to overwork those tires. Maybe he doesn't need the new tires, but we'll see, because I think when we look at some of the guys who are putting fresh rubber on, they may have a real good run on them now.
And just a side note for all the viewers at home, 33 machine of Suggs pitted 13 laps ago, so a lot fresher rubber than front. Suggs finds himself in P3. Joey Stiers went down as well with Suggs earlier on 13 laps ago, so they're kind of on the same tire package right now, some same wear pattern on the Goodyears, and Suggs always kind of lands himself in the top 3 here. Is very much a gentleman, does not use the bumper, and he'll be very patient here tonight to look for his run, and it'll be calm, collected, and definitely calculated.
Well, this could be the run to the checkers, or this could be another couple of caution flags yet to come. It's going to be tough to say as we get set for this restart. I'm hoping we get a long green flag run right to the end, but it seems as we've gotten to the second half of this race, caution flags are starting to show up.
Well, we only have 3 cars that have not reported to pit road. Dylan Kopak at the 5th spot, number 4. Campbell Delaney in the 9. Mike Alexander to 75. Maybe trying to go in the distance, so I can only imagine that flicking the engine switch here under these cautions and conserving as much fuel as possible. I'm not quite sure what the fuel window is for these super late models here in Arizona, but we did see a lot of pit activity close to the 60 lap mark earlier on in our first feature with the Eastbound Esports. So can Mike Alexander get the distance? We'll see as we get set to go, as they double them up here. Lights are out on the official pace truck for the iRacing pace truck. And it will be Mike Alexander. Delaney now to the outside. Keep an eye on that 33. He's going to try to time this properly here, as there is a different strategy for Mike Alexander. He did not fire right away. We've seen earlier on the restarts, he fired immediately after the pace truck left. Kind of stacked the field up behind him. And that's going to stack him up behind Delaney as Delaney gets away clean. But Suggs is under full attack. What a big stack of field of cars. About 18 cars now, 2 wide racing behind our top two.
And right now it's Suggs in that 33 that's feeling the pressure, because they are coming at him from all directions. He's got Joey Stiers in that 23 green machine really coming on strong. As he now looks down, he gets a great run on Suggs going into the turn. A little bump there. Oh, I see some dust. That's not a good thing.
Brett Roy almost made it 3 wide. Got into the back of the 23. Almost checked up the field behind him. Had a strong run there. But they'll all settle in behind the 23 as Joey Stiers continues to hold on to that position. But what a mess behind the 23. Ryan Libby now going to get around and now finds himself in the P4. But Suggs kind of trying to reel in the rest of the field. They are only 6/10 behind. 3/10 for Campbell Delaney, as about a 2 car lengths in the difference between our top 3.
And once again, we're seeing them stretch it out just a couple of car lengths between each. A couple of clicks on the clock. They're tight, but they're not on each other. So let's see if this gets a little tighter as we get closer. We're 55 of 75. There's about 20 laps left to go. And there's still a little bit of time to save your race car and calculate what it is you want to do. See if you can get to the front.
They call Mike Alexander Magic Mike, and there's something magical here tonight. That dude has not pitted tonight. 55 laps on those tires, and he still continues lap after lap to put on the fastest lap on the track. Now, the last one, Campbell Delaney, did get a little bit quicker, about 1/100th of a second difference. 1/100 seconds, is a lot of time races, especially after 10 laps. But Delaney's still showing strong too as well. Both cars not reporting to pit road and still making those Goodyears feel good right now here with 56 gone.
And it looks like they're settled in once again. We'll see if they're saving it up, if they're measuring each other out or talking pit strategy. Both. They're just working at it here, and
caution has been drawn here on lap 57. I believe that is the 5 machine of Craig Tully, but we'll let Paul Showtime Strickland give us a little play-by-play on this one. Yeah, these laps are going to count down. This is a huge event, guys, as they conserve more. And 58 gone here. Now we're going to count down a couple more, few more reporting to pit road. Dylan Kopech's going to head down there. He's going to give up a lot of spots that he built up there earlier. Bear Bonner, but with I believe that's going to take us to. I'm doing math here. 16 to go here. Once we go back to green.
We'll wait and see if Mike Alexander decides he should make a flash and go stop or some sort of pit stop, but no, he goes right by the pit road entrance.
No takers for our
No
leaders, right?
takers.
No takers. It'll be interesting to see on this restart now. Brett Suggs kind of has some strategy here as he knows it's time to go here, and he's going to be trying to calculate this precisely on this restart. Now, we've seen the 75 try to get up to the top right away, so he may block the run from the 9 of Campbell Delaney and really open up the door for Brett Suggs. Could be some contact there if Delaney is hard surging, so Alexander has to be careful here now on this restart. We've seen the last couple of restarts, he has opted to go to the top to try to block the run from the outside, so we'll see what happens here as 59 laps completed, as the lights are out on the pace truck, but they are still single filed, so that's going to bring around one more time before we double them up here.
Keep an eye on Alexander, because I think we're going to get a real good idea of who he thinks is the bigger threat. Is it Delaney or is it Suggs? If he goes up to the top of the racetrack, then he's trying to defend against Delaney. If he stays on the bottom, he's worried about Suggs. He's got to reveal it one way or the other.
Could be an opportunity for Delaney here, but it could be a whole flip seesaw match here for our top. The 46, Ryan Libby's been pretty sharp here tonight, been a front runner, but Brett Roy, the 26, who we've seen earlier on fighting his way through the field, has managed to find himself on the inside of row number 3. So we'll see what happens here. Mike Rhino now sliding back just a few more positions back to 7th. We've seen him to the front most of the race in the top 5, but he's got a bit of work to do now, finding himself in the top 8. Tam Woolridge now in 7th. He's a front runner as well, but we are doubled up. This yellow will conclude. We'll be up to lap 61. Lights are out on the pace truck. It's going to be Mike Alexander. What will be the strategy? We've seen him kind of delay on the last one. The other ones he would have fired right away, but we'll see right now as they come around the corner. Pace truck's out. He is going to hold for a little bit this time and slow down the field behind him, but Delaney times it near perfectly. Mike Alexander not able to get to the bottom or the top here, and Delaney will go door to door. Oh, baby, little contact with the 9. Here comes the 46 of Libby. Oh, baby.
And that's what we talked about. They haven't got tires on the 75 for the 9 car. They've worn those tires down. They got a little squirrely. That's all it took. Libby got fresh rubber.
Yeah, this is a huge shakeup with 14 to go here. And look at this. Libby, we haven't talked a lot about him, but we just spoken that he's been in the top 5, kind of studying the field here. But Alexander now fights and finds himself in that piece 2. Which he has led majority of this race. He has led all 61 laps of this 75 main event. So it'll be interesting to see if the 75 has anything here with those tires. He's got 62 laps on those tires, 13 laps on Ryan Libby's.
And Libby's only got a car length, maybe car length and a half ahead of the 75 of Alexander. He's got still a lot of work to do to stay out there. Alexander has proven how good he is, but Libby has a great run going now. It's his to lose, and he doesn't have any intention of letting it go.
Looking at the last lap times, only 5/100 better for Ryan Libby. So Alexander keeping the pace right now with our leader with the 46 as they build a bit of a gap right now on Campbell Delaney, who's our P3, and Brett Suggs. About 0.8 of a second in the difference between the rest of the field. If this continues green, this could be all up to the 75 to take over the P1 from Ryan Libby. As 11 to go here, this is a wild shake-up here in the TCM Live 75.
And the question is going to be, does the 46 have enough to stay out there, and does the 75 have enough tire left to be able to give the 46 the run? Libby pitted somewhere back around midway, if I'm not mistaken.
16 laps ago.
16 ago. He's got good rubber on. Alexander is still on the original tires. That's going to make it really tough on him.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see the numbers that these guys are posting up. Mike Alexander is continuously setting the pace with Ryan Libby. Only 5/100ths of a second. You know, that's still a lot of time, even in drag racing or stock car racing. But 5/100ths of a second is the gapage between the two. Mike Alexander, once again, every single lap, about 5/100ths of a second is what we're seeing in the difference between the tires and the strategy of the lines, and where they're picking up a little bit of extra grip here.
We've got less than 10 laps to go. Let's see what happens, because right now Libby is unquestionably, absolutely positive of what he has to do, and that is outdrive the 75 of Mike Alexander. Not an easy thing. Alexander's had a pretty easy night of it. He was out front all the way until Libby got that pass in there. So it's up to him to try and chase Libby down, and I don't know that he has enough rubber left on his tires to be able to make it happen.
We're seeing a little bit of different strategy coming into the corners for the 75. It looks like it really reels in the 46, but on exit, Libby, I guess with the new fresher tires, really launches out of the corners here. It looks like Alexander has a bit of advantage on the input to the corner, but Libby obviously looking great on the exits.
And those front two are really, they've got some distance now on Campbell Delaney on the 9. So it's going to be the battle between these two unless something happens to bunch up the field. So it's going to get a little more interesting as we get going here, because Alexander is going to get desperate. He's got less than 6 laps to go, and he's got to find a way to catch that 46 of Ryan Libby.
But the one thing about Magic Mike and the 75, Mike Alexander called a lot of races with this cat, and you know he may be saving something here for that final 2 laps. He knows he has to play it smart here. Will he throw it into a corner here and try to see if it'll stick? He is testing out a few different lines here. He's kind of studying right now. He's had a lot of clean air throughout the evening here. With 5 to go here, Alexander does reel him in. But like I said, Libby is a little bit stronger coming out of those corners with that fresher rubber. But they really checked out on the rest of the field. Campbell Delaney now 1.7 seconds off the leaders here. We almost had an incident earlier on as Mark Williams came out of pit road in front of the rest of the field. Could have drawn out a caution if they weren't too careful. But with 5 to go here, it will, without a caution, it's going to be either Libby or Alexander.
And they are pulling out all the stops. Libby is not showing any weakness. He's not making any mistakes. Alexander closes in as they come into the corner. And once again, Libby drives away as they make the exit. A lot of handle in that 46 car, and he's using every bit of it.
Oh boy, I can only imagine what the spotter is saying to the 46 right now. You have to be perfect because you have the 75, and there it is. The 75 does come within reach, almost 2 car lengths now between the two. Only 0.3 of a second between the 2 cars. Alexander looking for everything as he throws it in here and really gets in within 1 car length. Libby kind of flares out of that corner and picks up a little bit, but Mike Alexander a little bit of hard charging now, taking some risks with 3 to go here as they come down the backstretch into 3 and 4. It's going to be 2 to go here, Jerry. This is going to be wild.
This is where it all goes now. There are no, you don't hold anything back. Whatever you've got, you got to use it. It's all up to the driver now. He knows what's in the race car. Here comes Alexander. He's almost on the bumper of Ryan Libby's number 46 as they come down that back straightaway. And Libby unable now to get away as he exits the corner. Alexander riding the back bumper with just 2 laps to go.
And man, he was definitely holding something back because he almost half-carred down to the bottom. Tried to even test out the bottom of the yellow. White Silk is going to be out for these guys as they come here. This is your final lap. Libby is trying to fight off the 75. The 75 only got a couple of corners here as they come down the backstretch. Can Alexander throw it in there and make it stick here? As they come into 3 and 4, Libby has 2 more corners and a little bit of a straight. I don't think you'll see the bumper here as Alexander is probably going to do this as a gentleman. What a race the boys have put on. Man, it got close there, but not close enough as the 46 of Ryan Libby takes home a monster win on Mike Alexander in the 75. Campbell Delaney finishing off in P3. Brent Roy in the 4th spot. Mike Rhino completing your top 5. Man, Jerry, that was wild. I couldn't believe that Alexander took made that thing stick for 75 laps.
No, it's unbelievable to think he got that entire race on a single set of tires, never gave up the track position, but in the end, it may have been what cost him the race. He was so good. He just didn't quite have that one little tenth of a second that he needed to be able to get by the 46 to Libby. But man, what a show. What a talent to be able to make the car work that well.
You got to give him props. I believe he probably could have threw the bumper there, but what a gentleman, the 75, doing it gracefully and taking the P2 like a champ and allowing the 46 to take it. Nice, clean driving from both competitors, and what a shakeup here in the TCM Live 75. But we got Tim. What do you think, Tim? What a wild run here from Mr. Libby.
Yeah, well, we come to expect that on Thursday nights when we hit Vidane TV, and albeit a different car than the ARCA car or the new car that's coming out for that Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Tour. But Ryan Libby, Mike Alexander did a great job. Campbell Delaney, I'm not surprised. Kid has come a long way. Great to see him finish up there in the top three, and we'll chat with them. And I believe, Mike, we have our winner and the 22nd driver to lock into the showcase this season for TCM, Ryan Libby.
Ryan, you got a copy, bud?
Yep, we got you.
Dude, man, what a run. What a monster run. Probably at the edge of your seat there in the cockpit of your simulator, with the battle with the 75 of Mike Alexander. Dude, take us through your night, man. Pit road strategy. Coming in, did you think you had something, and how did it all play out for you?
Well, to be honest with you, my qualifying run, I think I started 8th there, and you know what? I kind of knew track position was going to be key and fresh tires. So as the race was panning out, I really didn't think I had a race-winning car. These guys are fast. They're really good. They hit their marks every lap. There's not a lot of mistakes, and I'm like, wow, this is gonna be a tough race. And I can tell you right now, I'm sweating. I'm full of sweat, and I'm not usually sweating like this. And they really made me work for it tonight. And huge props to Mike Alexander there for running me clean. I just tried not to look in my mirror the last 10 laps. In the last 5 laps, I started looking. And that's why he was at my bumper. So he's starting to rattle me pretty good. But we ended up making the right call on the pit strategy. We were taking the tires, and the fresh tires just kind of prevailed on the outside lane. And I think the 2 leaders there got together coming out of 2, and it really helped my momentum coming out of 2 and to actually get by them. It's a really, really tough place to pass at. I don't know if it's like an arrow push, but like when you get behind a car, you don't have that nose grip to duck out. And you really got to get a huge run coming out of the corner, and then you actually got to clear them too, So, it's definitely a great night. I wasn't expecting to be in victory lane tonight. I can tell you that much.
Well, I tell a lot of drivers not to drive with your rear view, but I'm sure when you start that's where the sweats had came in, because Mike Alexander, I didn't think he had something. He had about 500th of a second lap time better, which is not a lot of time, but a bit. But he saved something for you there for the final couple of laps, and man, was he hard charged. But great run, man. It was exciting, Ryan, and I believe that restart was definitely the game changer for you. But man, you held on, and unbelievable. Anybody you want to thank here tonight that takes you home the big win here tonight?
Yeah, it's definitely got to thank Tim Terry and you guys for putting this on, and with Dane Broadcast, with Paul Strickland Jr. in there and everyone, and teammate here, Brent Roy and Dylan Kopak, we were in here together in this room. So I just want to thank you guys. You guys do a great job broadcasting, and really enjoy watching the broadcast. And like I said, thanks again for Tim Terry for putting the league on and actually having me run also for the invite.
I always ask this to a lot of our competitors. You excited about the 2021 season, and what's your plans for the real racetrack?
I'm actually basically a spotter. I used to race, but right now I'm just a spotter for a few drivers right now.
Very important role. I got a lot of good friends that put a lot of guys in victory lane up there in that tower. So Glad to meet you. What an awesome run, man. That's all I got to say. You made it exciting for fans. You made it exciting for everybody up in the booth. But great run, and congratulations from all of us of TCM as well as Vidane TV on your big win here tonight. We look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you very much, guys.
Now, Jerry, I believe we have our P2 monster run from Mike Alexander. You got a few seconds with them there.
Mike, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Hey, good. Listen, you blew me away, man. 75 laps on one set of tires at Phoenix?
Yeah, I thought I was in trouble when the rest of the field pitted there, but the tire fall off seemed to be fairly quick, and like it kind of evened out. I saved a lot early. Like I was trying to, we were a little short on fuel for the whole 75 laps if we hadn't gotten the yellows, so I was just really trying to go easy on everything. And no, it just at the end, honestly, like I think I just maybe saved it more than Ryan, because at the end it felt like I was even picking him off a little bit more. But it was a great race, and congrats to him. Great race with him.
Now, early on, you were out in front. It didn't look like anybody was going to give you any kind of a challenge. That's I don't want to say that gets boring, but it's got to be a little bit more fun when you get somebody chasing you a little harder.
I'm not going to say it definitely doesn't suck when you're out in front and driving away. That's a pretty good feeling. But I have a lot of fun racing with guys too, and when you can race with guys side by side and not touch. I know I got into Campbell a little bit there, and I really hated for him. He had a great run going, and that was the last thing I wanted to do. But it is a little bit more fun when you get to race with people, but it's also pretty good driving away.
Victory lane's always a lot more fun when you're the one in it.
Exactly.
Yeah. A great race tonight. Put on a great show. We really weren't sure. We thought maybe you used up all those tires, man. Once you got by, we thought maybe you were going to have a struggle, but you almost made it look easy.
Well, I just, like you said, I was trying to take care of them and save that fuel, and I think that's what helped me at the end. He probably had to use them up a little bit more trying to come up through, where I could just ride a little bit and not have to run side by side with people.
Well, congratulations. I know second place wasn't where you wanted to end up, but still a great race and a great show.
Thanks a lot, man.
Well, that's Mike Alexander, position number 2. What a strong run for Mike here tonight. But gentleman and a scholar, making it clean here to the end. But big congratulations to him. I believe we got Campbell Delaney in here, the 9 car. Campbell, you got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, brother, man, what a run you had here tonight. We watch you so carefully throughout the whole night. A lot of the times when you were looking for position, it seemed like you were checking up and then holding on for the right moment on Barrett Bonner in the early parts. Just take us through the night. What was your strategy coming in here tonight, and how you feeling?
Just to have a fast car and right through the heat races, starting first and holding that was pretty good for me. And then in the feature, I checked up a lot, trying to save a bunch of tires and try and make it to the front, but it just didn't happen for me. But it worked out because top 3 finish isn't bad. I'm not usually up here, so it's great to be here.
Well, brother, man, I can tell you what a show you put on here for unbelievable. And like you said, you had a fast car here tonight, so a lot of time. You spent a lot of time in the server on Phoenix this week to get ready?
No, I was actually at my mom's about 30 minutes before this race and came in, practiced, changed up a few things, and just got fast over time, trying to pick out lines.
Well, there you go, fans. I mean, this kid has got something to show here. Really excited to see where your career is going to go in racing. Man, it's always a pleasure to see the 9. And tonight, man, you put on a show, and I thought you almost had something, but a bit of shake up there on that restart. Take us through pit road strategy for you. I know you went the whole distance, yourself and Mike Alexander, the only 2 cars on the field, make that fuel stick and make those Goodyears go the distance.
At first there, I was thinking about pitting with him, and then at about the halfway point, that caution, he didn't go, and I was thinking about it, and then I just didn't go, thinking that the tires would hold up, and I was somewhat right about that because it held me in there for the longest time and tried to make them last as long as I could.
A lot of fast lap times tonight. You had one of the quickest laps on the board, a little bit quicker than Ryan Libby. You had the second fastest lap time of the night. So really exciting to performed here tonight. Big congratulations. Who makes it happen for you, and thank?
Just my dad for helping me out with the sim and trying to get setups working and all that, and just iRacing Tim for keeping on these shows because they're just fantastic to run.
Awesome. What's your plans for 2021? Are you a Bandolero driver?
Yeah, I'm just gonna run the Bando in 2021 at Scotia and see if we can get anywhere else like Petty and all that, and see where it takes us.
Well, if you ever want to take a vacation down to Eastbound International over on the island, kids on the Big 3/8. Congratulations, man! What a run from a young gun. Look forward to seeing what you have for in the rest of your career. Congratulations, Campbell.
Thank you.
All right, that's Campbell Delaney in the 9, your P3 winner. What a run he had, Cherry. Man, for a young gun with some of these top dogs, pretty impressive.
When you hear about somebody who showed up 30 minutes before the race and finishes in third spot, you got to be impressed.
Tim, what are you thinking, man? What a night. That was pretty awesome, I got to say.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun night. Yeah, that was pretty fun. The finish at the end of that one was great. Great to see the long green flag run at the start. Had a couple of cautions that weren't cautions at the back of the field in both of those races, but try to keep it green, try to keep those guys up in front racing and putting on a show. And congratulations to Ryan Libby. Hats off to Campbell Delaney, Mike Alexander. Once again, putting on a great show. Campbell, one of the best finishes I think he's had in the TCM event. And heck, Brent Roy finished in 4th tonight. I think that's kind of the understatement of the evening. But Ryan Libby, Dylan Kopech coming over from the NEP series, and Ryan locks himself into the showcase. John Peters is there. There's a couple of big names in that race, and 22 drivers currently in, and we'll roll that one in April at the end of our season. But that's pretty much going to do it for us. So thank you to Phil Fowler, G&P AUTOPRO, Eastbound, yourself, Mike, and Bob for putting this deal on, Jerry for joining us, and we're going to take a little bit of a breather over the weekend, and then we return on Monday for TCM Live. And I don't know if we announced it last night, Paul, but Braden Langell is going to be on the show with us on Monday night, so I get to chat with the U.S. Legend Cars Winter Nationals Pro winner from last year, 2020. It's been a long time, and we get to talk to him, League of Legends Tour champion. He's won on Speed Weekend. He's won a bunch of races, so we'll catch up with the driver of the 51 this week on Monday, and we're still working on a second guest as well. That's going to be a fun race, or fun evening, I guess. So join us then. Next Wednesday, TCM Weekly iRacing Series, and then, Paul, we got some other stuff mixed in. Sim Racing Unleashed, the Trans Service Cup Series. I'm sure Neps is in here. What else we got?
Hey, pretty much nailed it right on the head. We're off a couple days here, Friday, Saturday. Going to enjoy a few days off. We've been pretty much hammer down for the past 3 weeks here, just about every single night of the week here of Dane TV. So we're going to come back Sunday night with the Sim Racing Unleashed. You made mention the doubleheader Monday night, the Tim's Corner Live and the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series. Off Tuesday night, RBR Maritime wrapped up their championships. Congratulations to Brett Suggs for taking that home this past Tuesday night, rather. And then another doubleheader Wednesday night. You made mention the Tim's Corner Motorsports Weekly Racing Series at Nashville Fairgrounds and the Fatheads Cup Series Wednesday night. Right after that, about 9:15, 9:20 or so start time there. And lots of stuff coming up here. Vidane TV, Vidane.net/events has the full calendar of events. Vidane.shop has all the t-shirts, the hats, the hooded sweatshirts, the stickers, all that good stuff. And we got a new graphics package, a little bit of a makeover here for our very first birthday coming up in the month of May, or a month of March rather, and just really excited for that. We're hoping to be able to debut that over the weekend. Shout out to Dave Polens for hooking us up with that, and man, I'm excited. Showed me a little teaser of the new opening clip here for Vidane TV, and well, it gave me goosebumps. So really looking forward to that and all the cool stuff coming up here on Vidane TV. But that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for everybody watching over at Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the good social media outlets. Join us, hashtag Vidane TV. Join the conversation. We're always trying to respond 24/7 to all of the hashtags and the replies and the tweets and all that good stuff. But next time we see you, we'll see you Sunday night, and we're going to be doing it live. Catch you on the flip side.
Boosh.